The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Yes, my friends. Yes, we have returned, and we're happy to have you derelicts there for us. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. We're here for you. You're there for us. It's a beautiful thing. And she's a Wednesday. It looks like that presidential election from last night has been decided. Some of you are happy. Some of you are sad. Some of you couldn't possibly care less. Some of you are readying yourself for a celebration. Some of you are bracing yourselves for total disaster. American politics, Cubby. The well-oiled machine just keeps on a-rolling.
Yeah, it's a little different than when we were growing up, isn't it?
I've been deeply passionate about politics for years, Josh.
You know what? Me too. And I just realized it right this second when you said it.
I've been deeply passionate ever since I was elected class president of Wayzata West Junior High School in the autumn of the year 1986. That's when the seed was planted.
Yeah, I had a little political experience in seventh grade as well.
The experience didn't end well for me.
Did you last more than a week?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was quick. I mean, it was a long time ago, but maybe I'd say 3 weeks before I was shoved aside. Maybe a month. It's been a long time.
Impeached as class president. That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, that's how it played itself out for me.
You mentioned some people don't care.
Some folks don't care at all.
A new survey says 28% of Americans don't care. Don't know, don't care. They don't pay any attention. They don't want to worry about it.
Don't care. Yeah, sure.
I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, I got gassed out of that spot as class president.
Did you run opposed or unopposed?
Oh, there were many oppositions, Josh.
In high school, it was very much unopposed. They were. I went to school amongst the 28% that just didn't care.
So wait a minute. What about high school?
In high school, nobody seemed to care about the elections or things like that.
Oh no,
wasn't a big deal.
I don't remember a lick of any class president talk in high school. I don't remember a word about it. And I probably wouldn't have heard anything about class president elections in junior high school until my friends thought it would be funny if I ran. And so I did. But no, I barely remember a word about it other than my brief experience. I made the local paper. My mother was very proud.
Really? Like something Sun or whatever?
The Wayzata Weekly or whatever, the local paper.
Oh, that's cool.
My mother was very proud in that moment. That also didn't last long. Her pride, that feeling of pride did not last long. Because I don't know if the word is impeached. What word do you use when you're discussing 14-year-old class presidents? Because my grades were so poor. They told me I had to go. And I didn't argue because I didn't want the friggin' job in the first place. I just did it for a little bit of fun and this and that. Yeah, I made the paper. And I think I still have the photograph somewhere.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to see.
Well, you can't really make out much. It's black and white,
yeah,
and it was alone. But this was the situation where I got the gig as class president, and whatever adult was in charge of the what's the term? Student council. That's the term. Whatever grown adult that was in charge of the student council approached me and said, "Well, I have your first responsibility as class president for you." And I, clueless, well, okay, what do you need from me? And it was some kind of a gimmick, Josh, where on a Saturday morning, I don't know, the mayor and some other people were showing up to cut the ribbon on a new sidewalk or something that was going.
Thrilling.
Okay, right? There was a new sidewalk being put in outside of our junior high, and they were going to have this ribbon cutting ceremony, and the mayor's going to be there and the fire chief and all these other people, and they thought it would be cute if also the class president was there for the photo. And I said, all right, cool. Yeah, what?
Well, you guys took it seriously in Wayzata.
Yeah,
Holy
that's a
cow.
big deal.
Yeah, did you get like the big scissors that you got to cut the ribbon
Yeah,
with?
somebody used the scissors. I didn't.
Holy cow.
What leads you to believe that it was serious?
Didn't you just say you met with the mayor and you made the paper?
The fire chief.
They pretty much ignored us. Ours was like whether or not we should have chocolate milk, and I mean it was.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That's all I really remember about it was things like chocolate milk and slushies. This was just a one-off silly thing. It was a silly gimmick to have a 14-year-old kid.
Well, that's the reason you're bringing it up, because that's pretty uncommon. You don't hear so much about that in a school student council.
I wouldn't know. But okay, so it was uncommon. But here's where I'm going with this, is I said, okay, where and when for this thing? And they said Saturday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that ain't right.
Ugh.
And I said, for God's sake, that's horrible. What 14-year-old kid is awake at... I said, I really have to be there? And they thought, well, it would be cute if you were there. So, I mean, I peeled myself up out of bed. I hadn't been awake that early, maybe since I was 5. And so, in the picture, I probably am the only one who can notice it because I remember the moment. I look like a gargoyle in the photo. My face is just bloated and my eyes are barely open because I did not have any experience getting up at 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday at that point in my life. So if I ever can find the picture, I'll show it to you. I don't know if you can make it out, but I look like I had just rolled out from under a bus because it was so early in the morning on a Saturday.
Had you gotten into the beers at that age on a Friday night?
14? No, not drinking to get drunk
It was
yet.
14.
No,
Okay, gotcha.
No, not drinking to get drunk just yet.
When you were impeached, did the paper publish another article? Talk about the scandal? And
No,
That'd be great.
no, there was no scandal. It was pretty direct. Our class president has all Fs.
they had no idea ahead of time.
I guess not.
Not a lot of fact checking.
I guess not. And I had no idea that your grades were a factor. Again, I mean, this was something my buddies put me up to. I wrote a funny speech, and I guess I entertained the crowd enough at the debate to where I was class president. But I had no idea what was expected of me. I had no idea about any of it. But yeah, one day I was sitting in class, and again, I was approached by the grown folks who were in charge of student council, and they pulled me out of class, and I guess they had no idea because they brought with them a copy of my grades, which were absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. I shouldn't have gotten out of the 9th grade. I really shouldn't have, because I had Fs across the board with the exception of gym, and they said, we can't have this. You cannot be class president with these grades. And I said, again, I didn't have any idea how it worked, and I didn't care. And I said, okay, well, what do we do? And they said, well, we're going to give you 3 weeks or something like that, 3 weeks to improve your grades. And if you do, you can stay on as class president. If you don't, and I just interrupted him and said, just forget it. And they were shocked by it because, of course, I mean, they thought student council was the most important thing in the world. I couldn't have possibly cared less. So I just interrupted them and said, just forget it. And they said, well, what do you mean forget? You're going to just walk away from the... And I said, I'm an F student. There's no way you giving me 3 weeks is going to make a difference. I said, just give it to the next guy. And so they did.
This is not going to help me get into college. My grades are too bad.
Well, you just leave it alone that, hey, I was class president, and hope they ignore the rest.
Yeah.
Like they did before he was elected class president.
Does anyone remember the Bill Cosby comedy special? 1983. I wish I could think of the title. Do you remember, maybe it doesn't matter if you remember the specific special. Do you remember the old Bill Cosby bit about the dentist?
Sort of.
Where you get shot in the mouth with Novocaine? I haven't done this in a long time.
Himself? Is that the
It might have been
comedy
himself.
album? That's the one I remember watching the most.
For you older folks, you might remember Bill Cosby had this great bit where he imitates when you get Novocaine in the yap at the dentist and your face becomes, drooping and drooling. And you're deliberately, it was like this. That was the comedy bit that I did at the debate that won me ninth grade class president. I did the Bill Cosby dentist bit.
And at that time...
And I think I promised that I would dummy down the price of slushies or something.
That's what got you, right? Some sort of food-related price issue.
That was the bit that I did. The Bill Cosby dentist bit. I just ripped it off, spit it out, and that's what got me the votes.
You know what you sounded like when you did that? Aside from the Bill Cosby bit, you sounded like Dana trying to do a video game update. Dana sent me some outtakes. Wednesdays, Dana, Ashley, and Wapple, the gamers on the show, they switch off and they put together an update of the latest video game news. It's a fun listen. I enjoy what you guys do. And I didn't realize how tough some words are for you, Dana, off air even.
This one was tough.
The dude struggles on and off air with his delivery. So what? So you had an absolute battle while cutting this video game update?
Yeah. So I went and recorded it yesterday, and there was a sequence of words that I could not get out of my mouth for the life of me. And
had you just made a visit to the dentist?
It sounds like it for sure, absolutely. And it was so horrific that I had to pass along to you guys for your enjoyment if you wanted to play it on
I'd
air.
love to
or
hear
just
it.
to hear it on your own to make fun of me.
No, let's do it on air.
I got two questions for you.
Yes.
One, can you say it right now what you attempted to say?
Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Yes, that's the name of the new game that came out on Monday that I was trying to... Well, I eventually succeeded in talking about it, but it took me a really long time and a lot of outtakes to get through it all.
Now, did you cut this up much, or did you just let it roll? This is how it went.
I was just letting it roll. And then once I finally got through all of it and felt like I had enough clean uptake, those were the outtakes that were remaining. This was all just one stretch. I didn't edit this at all. It's one 25-second stretch of me trying to say Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Okay, so we'll play it, and then I have a couple more questions for you. So this is Dana trying to record his video game update yesterday.
One critic said Mario and Luigi Brothers. 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 One critic said Mario and Luigi Brothership is a. One critic said Mario and Luigi Brothers. Here's what one critic had to say: Mario and Luigi Brothers.
Dude, why did you keep trying to put a Z in the word brothership?
That anger, I can feel that so much.
You're mad at yourself.
Yes.
Why don't you slow down in between?
Yeah.
Just take a second, and also...
And then you can edit it together.
And rewrite the phrase.
Yep.
I think I've been there before where I'm like, this phrase works when reading it, but saying it's nearly impossible. I got to reword it.
Yeah. Josh is right.
Go too fast.
When we've heard you struggle on and off air, it's simply a matter of slowing your pace. That was a lot of fun to listen to.
I can feel that. Oh, dude.
Mario and Luigi
So it's even better. I didn't want to ask you yesterday because I wanted to find out on the air.
Yeah.
It's even better that I thought maybe you just cut out some of the, the pausing in between, but that was your problem, I think.
Yeah.
The angry breath.
Is that I just kept going back to it? I was getting so mad at myself. I just tried all right, I'll do it this time. And I didn't just slow down all right, let's take a breath. Let's stand up. Let's, walk around the room for a bit and then come back to it. I just kept going for it. It was like Sideshow Bob continually stepping on rakes in The Simpsons and hitting himself in the face.
Oh, wow. That was fun. You got her done, though, after an hour or so?
Yeah, 4.5 hours later. I was here till midnight. And that was only half of the takes. I think there were some more in there, too.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Uncle Bitch Jesus said, welcome to the Half-Ass Morning Show. You know, the brusherhood. The brusherhood. Medical Device Jesus wants to know if you have the same issue as our former coworker Ross, where your brain is too fast. I think that's what it is.
I think that happens a lot to me, yeah.
Your brain moves faster than your mouth can.
I know what I want to say, and I try to get it out as fast as possible.
Just be dumber.
Ashley and I have been cutting ads together. Ashley, you want to tell folks about your experiences cutting ads with me so far?
Oh, it makes me so angry because it's one take and one breath.
One take, Cubby, one breath.
It is so frustrating, and it'll be like a 60-second commercial the first time he does it, and it's just right on time.
Now, wait a minute here. It's frustrating. Aren't you the one that edits it?
Yeah, oh, well, see, so that part's nice, but it's frustrating because I can't do that.
You have trouble,
I just
too?
can't do that.
Maybe a little bit of my greatness will brush off on you, Ashley.
Well, do you
hope so.
pre-read what you're doing or write your own ads?
Yes.
And still you have that much trouble.
Yeah,
huh?
I run out of breath really easily.
It is nice, though, because I'll need to get in that studio sometimes, too, and Nick will need to read an ad. I'm like, okay, so it's a 60-second ad. He'll be out of there in 62 seconds.
Yep.
Ah, man. We gotta get some mileage out of that video game update. What do they call that in the business, Josh? A gag reel, outtake
Blooper
reel?
reel. Say it again.
Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Good job.
Yeah,
Jesus,
see,
that was textbook right
all
there.
you have to say it is like 200 times the day before, and you'll be able to get it.
I'll be saying it in my sleep.
What's going on today? Randy Shaver at 7:30. Marky Foligno at 8 a.m. I think I have that right. I think I got the right day.
Yep,
Today's the
you
day
got
we
it.
talk to Mark Foligno. And there you friggin' go. Speaking of, real quick before we have to take a break, speaking of politics and voting and all that, this falls into place nicely on the subject of politics and voting. Insufferable characters. Insufferable characters. I was surprised, maybe even shocked recently, to see that Daniel LaRusso of Miyagi-Do Karate, if I'm not mistaken, right, Josh?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Daniel LaRusso of Miyagi-Do Karate was voted by a website, and whoever runs this website, must be a moron, but still, it's surprising, shocking to see Daniel LaRusso was voted on this website the most insufferable character in movie history?
What? Okay,
So-
chill out.
I would say he's borderline insufferable in television history with Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Now, I haven't watched the last 2 seasons. I watched the first
Forgot all about it.
2.5 seasons, maybe. And I was disappointed how they portrayed him. I thought it was really funny. Johnny Lawrence is awesome.
He's the best.
And I love how they put his point of view in there, Johnny Lawrence's point of view of how the everything that happened in the Karate Kid was in his view, which was hilarious. It's completely opposite. And you start to go, you know what? Johnny was right. Maybe the Karate Kid was a bit of a bully.
A lot of that noise started to drum up a few years ago when the Cobra Kai thing was hotter than hell. A lot of folks started.
It was kind of a long-running joke, but they did it in Cobra Kai perfectly.
Yeah, and didn't he cheat in the competition?
Who
the
cheated
Great
in the
Kick
competition?
that was an illegal move.
Yeah.
Who did?
Daniel LaRusso.
Danny.
He cheated in...
Well, that was one of the things that Johnny Lawrence was joking about.
in the original movie.
In the original movie, right.
You can't point to a moment that he references, like...
The crane kick, he said, was an illegal move.
Oh, the crane kick was
Yeah.
an illegal move.
Yep.
Oh, God help us. That was what won him the All Valley.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, my damn.
There's no way in the movie. I mean, he is kind of whiny. I've watched it as an adult.
Yes.
And I didn't notice it. Just like Luke Skywalker, when I watched some of the original Star Wars as an adult, I'm like, this guy whines constantly, but I never noticed it when I was a kid.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, I did.
Well, I mean, you gotta
so
keep
I
in
never...
mind, I was like, under 10 when those movies were first coming out.
So was I. I mean, I never liked Luke Skywalker for that very same reason. But anyway, I mean, I get it. I get, why people change their opinion on the Daniel LaRusso character when Cobra Kai hit television. Changed their opinion from what they thought of him in the first two movies.
He's kind of douchey in the show.
He can be.
At least he was in the seasons I watched.
But to call him the most, and again, who cares? This website is garbage, and this list really is terrible overall. To call him the most insufferable character in film history, I think, is a little much. There's no reason to even get into the rest of the. I'm telling you, this is absolute dog feces. What this website came up with. Also on the list was Napoleon Dynamite.
What?
Right.
I love him.
He's a harmless nerd, but he made the list of the most insufferable.
I didn't like that movie the first time I saw it. I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't understand it. But after I watched it the first time, people kept saying, you got to rewatch it. It's great. And
Absolutely.
I did appreciate it.
And if you don't like Napoleon Dynamite, what you should do is watch when he made an appearance on David Letterman to do the top 10 signs you're the least popular person at your high school. That was one of the highlights of David Letterman's all-time top 10 list was when, what's his name, John Heder? John Heder? When he came out and did the Napoleon Dynamite bit, the top 10 signs you're the least popular person in your high school, that put him over the top for me. I just watched that again a few days ago. I hadn't seen it in years. But you're right. The first time I saw it, I thought, what did I just look at?
Yeah, I didn't understand. I'm like, this is a movie? I don't get it.
The only time I laughed out loud the first time I saw Napoleon Dynamite, and it's a scene that lasts 2 seconds. There's a quick edit, and they cut to the bully at his high school just jacking Napoleon into the, what do you call those things? Those lockers. Just boom! He gets smashed into the lockers. I laughed my balls off at that because that reminded me of, high school and junior high. But you got to see it again. Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite and Daniel LaRusso getting their asses kicked on this list of insufferable movie characters. That's great.
I was the same way as Napoleon Dynamite. I saw it once and thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and then went back to the movie theater with a group of guys, and we got really, really high in the parking lot, and I laughed my balls off.
That makes a difference, I've heard.
I didn't know you used to get high.
It was very rare in college. I would. That was one of the few times I was truly high.
That doesn't count to say I didn't like it the first time, but I liked it the second time when I was completely hallucinating on drugs.
Uh-huh. And the best was this was at the old St. Cloud, kind of dollar movie theater. They showed movies that have been out for a while.
I bet you could get an HJ at that movie theater.
You definitely could. I think there were HJs happened. We saw Napoleon Dynamite. We got high before. We went and smoked more, and then went back in and saw Team America World Police.
Oh,
dude.
One of the best double features of all time.
How about that sex scene? It's the most graphic sex scene I've ever seen.
I think that's when the HJs were happening, Josh.
Your abs must have got a workout on that evening.
Big time.
Team America World Police. That was so good. It came out at the perfect time. Oh, man, that was great.
Cubby was always getting HJs at the movie theater back in the day.
I don't think I ever got one.
Oh, maybe we can find that Napoleon Dynamite Letterman top 10 list. I'm telling you, I get tears in my eyes when I watch that or when I hear the audio. But, you're a great crowd. We appreciate you very much. As we mentioned, we'll talk to Randy Shaver and Marky Mark Foligno from the Man Bear Pigs when we get closer to around 7:30 or so. Am I forgetting anything, Josh?
I think you got it all.
Oh, God. I got that middle of the week blues. And my body temperature is just bottoming out at this point.
I don't get why it's so cold in here.
It is so cold in here.
Freezing.
I hate myself, and I hate this building. And I've been here for 7 years. We'll take a break, and we'll come right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It is that time of the year at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Schedule your tune-up, boost your indoor air quality, or grab huge deals on a new system. Do not wait. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with AutoQuote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Best-selling author and business growth expert Candy Valentino brings her unique spin on achieving financial freedom.
You're going to ruffle feathers. That's the only way that you're really going to get where it is that you want to go. So I want you to use this little podcast as a reminder. You don't need someone else's validation or acceptance. You hold the keys to unlock whatever it is that you're looking to do. And you don't need someone else's permission to use it.
The Candy Valentino Podcast, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Here we go. Here we are. We were talking about Bill Cosby earlier, trying to come up with the name of an old stand-up special he put together back in, God help us, 1983, where he does a dentist routine. We were trying to come up with the name of that special. It's how I won the 9th grade class presidential race at Wayzata West Junior High School back in 1986. Cubby, I just went ahead and I ripped off from start to finish Bill Cosby's dentist routine. So we were trying to come up with the name of the special. A listener texted in and said, was the special called To Catch a Predator? No.
Yeah, he's talking about numbing drugs and that. We didn't see anything coming.
We didn't because he was so damn funny. It was not called To Catch a Predator. I think it was called, thanks to some listeners who texted in earlier, I think the name of the special was Bill Cosby Himself. Some bitch died, didn't he?
Bill Cosby?
Didn't he die? I thought he died.
Bill Cosby?
I actually have no clue.
Yeah, I kind of thought he was still in prison.
Oh, I thought he checked out.
I don't think he did, unless I totally missed a story.
Oh, no. That's what's the word I'm looking for? That's common for me. That's a common mistake that I make.
Yeah, I thought I totally missed something there.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Oh, I thought
87.
I thought he had checked smooth out. My bad, but again, that's common for me. I always assume people are dead. I don't know why.
His career died, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
Any respect he had, that passed away as well.
His career?
Yeah, gone.
Dead. Deader than Derringer. All right.
Could have been thinking about OJ, maybe.
That's exactly what I was probably thinking of, was Orenthal James.
Okay.
Now, we're thinking of, controversial individuals who had huge careers in the past.
Yeah.
And whose opinions were changed. Yeah, not OJ. Wapple.
All right. Here we go with today's Stupid News Report, and I'm telling you, the folks in Thailand, they've had enough. How many times have you visited Thailand, Josh?
Never once.
You've never.
But I hear great things. It seems like that's the place, right? Thailand and Nashville. Mm-hmm. When somebody's saying they're going somewhere.
Everybody wants to go to Nashville. I got a few buddies who every year they go to Nashville, and they always say, you got to go to Nashville. Please come. I don't want to go to Nashville.
For a while, it was Austin, Texas. That was another hot spot, it seemed. Aside from your normal Vegas and Florida and stuff like that.
Mazatlan. For a stretch of time, everybody was going to Mazatlan.
Yeah, you don't hear the Mexico stuff as much anymore. But Thailand, people say that is a relatively inexpensive and awesome vacation.
I'm never going to go to Nashville. Maybe I'll go to Thailand. But you're right. You tell us you've heard good things, but you better get there while you can, because I have a feeling they're going to close the borders. Because visitors, tourists, they keep swinging through Thailand and just effing things up. Nobody can behave while visiting Thailand. And this here dude I'm about to tell you about, there's no helping him. If this is how he operates when he goes out of town for a few days, there's no fixing this guy. Maybe he should just be put down. The story refers to the guy as being British. Okay, they're idiots. I'm just going to let her buck here. I'm going to cut to the chase. This British moron, he had to be rescued Word is he was so effing drunk, out of his mind, that he fell smooth off his hotel balcony and he went crashing through the ceiling of a room below him, just like in the movies. Next thing you know, they look upwards and this poor bastard's legs are sticking out the ceiling. He comes off the side of his balcony, his hotel room balcony, falls, I don't know, a couple of floors, and his legs come crashing through the ceiling of a room below him.
That's got to be funny.
I think it was an
to
internet
see.
cafe. That's why they've got video of it.
An internet cafe.
Yeah, that's what he fell into.
Oh, and also, the death-defying drunk. He was as naked as the day he was born, and he was smeared from head to toe in his own cold, wet, soft feces.
Oh, wonderful.
Completely normal. This is up on 93x.com, too, if you're brave enough.
It's tough to look at, isn't it, Smashley?
Yeah. Just thinking about it makes me a little
A
nauseated.
grown naked man covered in his own turds.
Anytime you're covered in turds, nothing good happened. I guess unless you're into what I believe is called a Cleveland steamer in some circles.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
That might be your thing.
A 51-year-old man, he is. So folks at the hotel there in Thailand, they say they heard groans coming from out the guy's room before he did his fall guy routine. Groaning. Maybe he was trying to push out a real keeper. I don't know. But they heard groaning, and they heard loud crashing noises coming out of the guy's room before he went off. And then, like I was saying, crashola. The dude's poo-covered legs are dangling out the ceiling of, Josh called it, the internet cafe room.
Minus the poop, that would be very funny to see. Just a leg in the ceiling, kicking around.
I think the poop adds to the...
Even with the poop, that's funny to see.
I think the poop makes it even funnier.
It does make it funnier.
It's a better headline. It's a better story.
This lunatic was taken to a hospital where he was hosed down and scrubbed from top to bottom like a duck that got caught up in an oil spill. He somehow only had minor injuries. When the cops checked the hotel room that he was staying in, they found that he'd been painting the walls with his turds before he did his double gainer off the balcony. So, this doesn't sound like a typical tourist who had 5 too many shots. This sounds like something much more troubling than that. But again, if this keeps up, Cubby's he's not going to have his opportunity to go to Thailand. What do they call it again?
Thailand.
He's not going to have his opportunity to go to Thailand because they're going to close the doors. Every month we read about some new tourist who goes to Thailand and just becomes a tornado of destruction, feces, semen.
Papa, let me see if I can change your mind a little bit. All right? I've got tickets. We're going to go watch a keynote speaker on the subject of macroeconomics.
Oh, that's my best subject.
It is?
Where are we going to see that?
It doesn't matter where. We're going to go see a keynote speaker on the subject of macroeconomics. Now, that sounds a little dry to me.
Yeah,
what if I said, oh, and by the way, the speaker will be covered in poop?
All right, yeah,
that changes things, doesn't it?
Kind of in now.
Get me a ticket, Cubby, but not in the first 5 rows.
Yeah, I want to be a little further back.
Yeah, maybe a nose plug or something.
There was a movie once that came on TV that my ex wanted to watch, and I wasn't into it, and she said, well, what if I told you one of these main characters, one of these 4 women is going to poop their pants at some point in this movie? And I said, I'm in. I want to watch this. I want to find out what happens.
Is that how she got you into Bridesmaids?
No, it was one of the Sex and the City movies. I can't remember if it was the first or the second one, but there's definitely a scene where one of the 4 main characters dukes themselves, and that got me hooked.
The poop scene in Bridesmaids was pretty darn funny.
That was great.
There were
That's
multiple Sex in the City movies.
I think they made 3, if I'm not
Did they
mistaken.
really? I didn't even know they made 1.
God help us all. No wonder.
That changed a girlfriend of mine, the Sex in the City. She became very fancy and obsessed with cosmos. after watching that.
She was easily impressionable?
I found that out, yeah.
That's annoying. That sounds really annoying. That must have been obnoxious to have this
It was
girlfriend,
quite the change.
and suddenly now she's a Cosmo-drinking high society girl?
Yeah.
Weird.
Where a week prior she was drinking old style at the VFW?
Before, her favorite Cosmo was Kramer on Seinfeld. And after that, it was fancy drinks downtown.
Now, this here lady from, by damn, right here in the United States of America. She effed up. Very different than the man covered in his own wet, cold feces who fell off a balcony and then through the ceiling of the room below him. But she effed up, and it damn near made the eyes fall out. She goes by the name of Brianne Shipley. She tossed a little video up there for all the 8th graders on TikTok. She wants to warn folks about the importance of keeping your medical products well organized. Keeping your your medicines, your this, like my mother, she has a massive, like Monopoly board sized series of medications that she has to take every day, and one of them's in a red container, the blue one. Give me the yellow one. Keep your medications organized. What happened with this lady, she got one thing crossed up with the other. She dumped friggin' nail glue into her eye sockets.
Oh, no.
Because she thought it was her eye drops. And from what I can understand, we're not talking about fingernail glue. We're talking about arts and crafts style nail glue, if you're able to follow that. It can happen. And by damn, she and her one good eye, they went to running off to the hospital after that gong show. She says she was half asleep a few days ago. And that's when her Amazon Alexa device cut loose on her and started hollering about how it was medication time. It was time to apply her eye drops. Do you tell your virtual assistant to holler at you now and again, Josh? Do you schedule?
I might set a timer here and there, but nothing reoccurring.
I don't have one of those things.
I thought you did.
Yeah, not anymore.
Oh, you get rid of it?
Well, I don't know what happened to it, to be honest with you. It was there.
I bet you have it and you just don't know.
She might have walked away.
Sometimes you have things, you're like, I didn't know we had that.
Did she leave me like all the others?
No, she wouldn't have left you.
All right. So one day, this gal, she's half asleep. Her Amazon device tells her it's medication time. It's time to take her eye drops. She had recently been prescribed the drops for a bacterial infection. Oh, what do you mean, like pink eye? Oh. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Thankfully, I've never had that.
Neither have I.
Oh,
No.
it's bad.
I've
Never
heard
saw
it's
it.
absolutely miserable.
It's embarrassing.
Except for Bob Costas.
Poor Bob.
She had recently been prescribed these eye drops for a bacterial infection. She was a first-time eye drop user. They weren't part of her regular routine.
I've only used them once. You guys use them very often?
Never.
No.
Never used an eye drop.
Even when you got LASIK, everybody? The
Oh,
ones
when
that
I
did?
got LASIK, yeah, I did. And
That's the only time I did.
That was exhausting. I hated having to put those in.
This gal kept her eye drops just in a big pile on her not newsstand. Why would she have a newsstand? What is this, 1930? She kept the eye drops on her nightstand with all kinds of other things. She had to smear that swill into her eyeballs every few hours. So she gets the notification from her Alexa lady. She blindly reaches over, grabs a bottle, opens her eye, and poured the drops in. And as soon as it hit her eyeball, she started screaming. She, for whatever reason, had nail glue sitting on the same nightstand as her eye drops. Her 17-year-old son woke up in the next bedroom, heard his mother screaming. She said the first 10 minutes was a massive panic. I didn't know what was going to happen. Her son did a Google search and told his stupid mother to flush her eyes out with water as best she could. And then they headed for the nearest hospital. Doctors later told her that washing her eyeballs out with waters might have saved her from more serious damage. So I think she owes that 17-year-old kid a case of Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer for that or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Christmas better be good for him this year.
Her son saved her eyeballs. After the nightmare was over, Brianne, the lady, she said, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed when I got to the hospital, but the doctor told me that this happens a lot more than you think. No, it doesn't. But doctors know many ways to make you feel better.
The panic. I would absolutely panic at first.
Yep.
And then I would continue panicking.
Now she keeps all her medications separate, she says, Josh.
Yeah, well, she learned a very important lesson, I guess. So going back to my girlfriend, who really was a wonderful person, but she changed a lot. Watching Sex and the City, became fancy, dressed fancy, Cosmos, downtown, all that stuff.
Sure.
Beef Cannon Jesus wants to know if it's the same one that dressed me up fancy at my surprise birthday party. Yes.
Yeah.
Same girl that I still think should be charged with some sort of attempted assault, attempted murder, maybe, when she invited every alpha male from the radio station to a surprise birthday party and made me walk in there with some slacks, which I had never worn outside of a wedding and a funeral, and a skin-tight baby blue ribbed turtleneck.
Oh. You were dressed, because I was there, you were dressed like a damned jackass.
I know. And I tried to get out of it.
She tried to, not only did she change, but she tried to change you.
She did. And so she planned this whole night. Where I didn't know it was a surprise party, but she planned this whole thing, and she bought the outfit, and I didn't want to wear it, and I even said, this isn't me. I can't go out in public like that. And she, I could tell it hurt her feelings. So I thought, well, she went through all this.
You're not the type of guy that likes to hurt anybody's feelings.
Not at all. And so I thought, well, we're going to a restaurant that I won't know anybody. I don't go to fancy restaurants. Nobody's going to know me. Mm-hmm. And I walk in the room. I'm like, oh, no, Collins. Oh, God, Blaze. No, Nick's here, too.
Oh, man.
That
Dude.
was not cool.
I know we've relived this many times, but it was a marquee moment. Absolutely.
I look like a cop car with how blue and red I was at the same time.
That friggin' turtleneck was so stupid, we couldn't believe it. It looked so stupid. And I got to play this out again. The reaction when you walked into the room. And I could see it on your face from all the way across the room. You were absolutely mortified when you saw everyone that was waiting on you, and you realized, oh my God, I am dressed like a friggin' moron. So I was sitting, just like Josh described, I was sitting there with Tim Blaisdell and Jeff Collins.
Two of the toughest guys I've ever met.
And that was back when you could still smoke in the bars. I know that for a fact, because Collins took a drag. I didn't see you walk in initially, and neither did Tim Blaisdell. Collins saw you right away. And I was looking at Jeff Collins at the time. We must have been having a conversation. And Jeff takes a drag off his cigarette, and this is what he says. What the F am I looking at? And that's when we looked over at Josh.
I was so confused. Do you remember? I turned to her and I'm like, are you mad at me? I didn't understand why she would do this to me. I thought legitimately maybe she had some resentment built up for some reason, but no, she was trying to do a very nice thing.
Oh,
which,
man.
Of course, I appreciated, but I also thought I'd be better off in my underwear right now versus the outfit I'm wearing.
That was a riot.
Do you remember what happened to that turtleneck, the demise of it when you eventually got rid of it? I assume it's not in your closet anymore.
Oh, I donated that to some other poor SOB.
Yeah.
Some other guy's going to
Your problem now, bud.
Did she buy you any other clothes?
Yeah, she did. But it was more appropriate.
Did she buy you those pointy shoes that I got and I threw them over the fence?
No.
Wingtips?
No, she never bought me anything like that.
One time, the ex-wife bought me some shoes, and I said, I'm not wearing these friggin' shoes. And she said, but they look so nice. And I said, these are stupid shoes. This is what European guys wear with the pointy tips. I'm not wearing those friggin' shoes. Yes, you are going to wear the shoes. I spent a lot of money on those shoes. I said, you wouldn't find me in those shoes if I was friggin' dead. I hate those shoes. I never wanted the shoes. You're going to wear these shoes. And finally, I took the shoes out into my backyard, and I threw them over the fence line into my neighbor's yard. And I said, that's where the shoes go.
little bit of an overreaction, but
No, it was not an overreaction, Ashley. You can't say that until someone tries to make you wear those shoes.
they were that bad.
They were horrible. They were like shiny, maroon, leather, pointed-tipped European dress shoes.
I could never imagine you wearing something like that.
You run
Oh,
hot,
my.
too. Don't tell me it was an overreaction until someday I'll try to make you wear a stupid pair of shoes. We'll see how you react. And I'll cry and scream about it. I spent all my money on the shoes. And I said, you got ripped off. Aha! And I threw them over the fence. And the next day, my neighbor's mowing the yard going, why are there European maroon shiny shoes in my friggin'...
He's sitting on the patio, drinking a glass of lemonade, hits him in the back of the head. Hey!
Free shoes. Ashley, you're a girl, right?
Yes.
What do you think? You got a boyfriend. Do you think that a boyfriend should wear a super tight, like skin tight shirt of any kind when he weighs about 140 pounds?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
We could see...
That was the other part of it.
It was so bad.
You saw my heartbeat.
From across the room, we could see your areolas.
Oh, I know.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
You guys could see my circulatory system working.
Yes.
You could see the blood go through my veins.
Why would she want her man to look that way in the first place?
She didn't like you, man.
Why
Like, there had to
would
be
any
something.
woman want her man to dress that way?
Well, I think what happened is she wanted to make me into a bit of a pretty boy, right? And I got a lot of crap that night for that. That's for sure.
Oh, God.
I had hair back then.
Not a hell of a lot of it, but yeah, you had some.
It started to go about that time.
Another grown person playing make-believe here for you in the Stupid News Report. What has it been? Less than a week since the last one? Another grown person playing dress-up because of some deep mental trauma. It says here, a spa owner in Massachusetts pretended to be a nurse while on the job there at the spa, is what I understand. So they run some spa. I don't know. You show up and you get a spray tan and your nails done, is what I understand. This gal also pretended to be a nurse, and then she stabbed clients with needles and injected them with fake Botox and filler.
Oh, no.
I've mentioned this before. I can't tell at all. Unless it kills somebody's facial expressions, I never notice a difference with Botox. And I thought, Ashley, you said in the past you can tell instantly?
Yeah.
Is the word?
Yep.
I can definitely tell.
I can too.
Well, I can tell the extreme ones.
Yeah,
of
just
course.
extreme for me.
You just have to watch them try to make a facial expression.
Like,
No, I don't know.
Yeah, or try to drink from a straw or something.
oh, really?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it doesn't wrinkle the way
Yep.
that you're supposed to.
Yes.
My wife's done it a couple times. I couldn't tell.
I don't look that closely at anybody, and I don't know. I can tell.
But only if it's like really extreme.
Right.
Or somebody's like, oh, I'm terrified right now, but their facial expression hasn't changed a bit.
I saw a
this,
picture of a friend I haven't seen in a couple of years, and I didn't recognize them. They've done so much stuff. I was like, whoa,
Well, I'm just talking Botox, not plastic surgery.
Oh, no, just Botox and like lip and fillers and
lip
stuff like
Well,
that.
that's different. I mean, that changes your appearance. I mean, you're obviously, some people say Botox does too. But yeah, lip filler to me is different. I can tell if your lips were bigger.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's all the same. This gal who was pretending to be a nurse and shooting folks up with Botox, she goes by the name of Rebecca something or another. She's 38 years old. She allegedly imported fake Botox from China and other things. Maybe you know what these things are. Likely you don't. Sculptra, Juvederm, these are all fillers and Botox. She imported those from China, and then she sprayed that goo into into folks' ass cheeks and faces and whatnot. She made a good living with this bit. She went through with summers around 1,600 fake Botox appointments, and she pulled down over $500,000.
Oh, yeah. It's big business.
Of course, a few of her clients started making noise after coming out of there with lumps and bumps on their faces, wondering what the hell the lady shot up in there. When this mess went to court, the judge or somebody involved said, this type of deception is illegal, reckless, and potentially life-threatening. Prosecutors said she bought fake vials of Botox for $50. The price for real Botox is around $650. What a hell of a deal there. She's in trouble now. I'll tell you that right now, Josh. She's in trouble now.
Oh, yeah, she should be. Has anyone here ever done it or would do Botox or Brotox for guys? One of the two?
No.
I don't even really know what it does. What does it do?
Like it paralyzes your face or wherever they inject it.
Well, you can't have wrinkles and stuff and look old.
Look at my gorgeous face.
Yeah, and it is gorgeous.
Where would I put it?
I got one suggestion where I'd like you to put it, but I don't think I'll ever get you there. I don't know that I would make any changes to your face whatsoever.
Probably like your eyes and then your forehead.
Oh,
Always the eyes.
Wapple has some ideas where you should change.
It's like a doll's eyes. You have lifeless eyes. What now?
I got a bro who got it recently, but it's because he has chronic, just awful headaches. It's been going on his whole life, and the doctors thought that it might help. And he said it actually has helped a little bit.
He has what?
Alleviate his awful headaches. He has just headaches that will just stop him dead in his tracks.
Hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's
Dental Babe, she's just texting that it helps with the headaches.
Yeah, I've heard that from a couple people for sure.
I don't know anything about that stuff, where I'd shoot it or what the hell it does. So.
It's too expensive for my taste.
It's very expensive.
Is it really? I always thought it was relatively inexpensive.
I don't know.
Well, you have to upkeep it. You just can't. You can't get it once and be done. So it becomes like a reoccurring expense.
Yeah, once a month.
I got that kind of money sitting around.
Isn't it like botulism that they're putting in your face? Isn't that what it is? Or have I heard that incorrectly?
I'm not sure.
Eastbound at Sundown, Jesus wants to know if Botox can unwrinkle your sack.
Probably could.
Oh, there's got to be someone that did that.
Isn't there like a way to iron it out? I thought there was some sort of procedure.
I have. We've discussed it before on the show. Scrotum ironing.
Yeah.
They'll knock the wrinkles out, and you'll look.
I'll have to ask my.
As smooth as a.
They say it's called Scrotox treatment.
Yeah, we've heard of Scrotox.
Yeah. Dental Babe, she just said, yeah, it's botulism. It's you're killing your face or whatever.
What is botulism?
It's like some sort of thing.
It's a thing?
Like a toxin. I couldn't tell you like if it anything more than that.
I hear you. You folks, you know how it goes around here. By God, you do. Many times, scumbag, lowlife, garbage criminals, they end up, banging themselves in the can. They get caught because of some small detail. They end up poning themselves. Is that still the thing, Josh, poning?
To me it is, but probably the young people know.
Like, say, they roll their car through a stop sign, or maybe they leave their effing ugly picture ID at the scene of the crime.
Or they get the what's it called, license plate light out.
Sure.
I know two people that got D-dubs for that.
Hello.
Well, not
Tiny
for that,
little,
but that's what got them pulled over.
Tiny little details.
Oh, that's what happened to you, Wapple?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I don't know if I guess I don't remember that. When you got your DWIs because the license plate light was out?
Yep.
I had one of my old buddies. He got pinched for a DWI because of something, subtle, small detail. I've told you before where he was driving his mother's station wagon down a set of railroad tracks. It was just a subtle little thing that he screwed up.
Most cops would never notice that.
The cops noticed.
He just found the wrong cop.
His mother's station wagon just bounding up and down across a set of, not across, but along a set of railroad. So two suspected drug dealers in England, they were caught red-handed thanks to a big, fat, stupid gingerbread man air freshener hanging in their car.
Hilarious.
Do you remember the first time you hung one of those air fresheners in your car and didn't realize that you should open it only slightly at first?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, it was like a couple of years ago, man.
And you couldn't even see the road from the scent pouring into your sensitive eyes.
Yeah, I think I had it in there very briefly and learned that lesson quickly, but it smelled like Christmas in my car for 2 full years.
I cracked open that Christmas tree thing all the way. And it was so overwhelming, I just instantly threw it into the garbage. And a friend of mine said, no, just crack open a little piece of that plastic. Just get a... Yeah, that was 30 years ago. I don't really go with that air freshener thing in the car anymore. I want my car to have its natural scent.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the one and only time I tried it. But for a while, because you can't hang those anymore, right?
No.
Or maybe you never could.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because
not from the mirror.
Yeah, not from the mirror. That's where we did back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
We get those little clip-on, the vent ones people put in there.
Yeah, I like those.
You could hang it on your blinker, too.
How about the garter belt? How many of you have hung the prom night garter belt from your rearview mirror?
I remember that being a thing, but I didn't.
You know what that said to me? I touched a girl.
Mm-hmm. I
girl.
did not touch a girl at that time.
All right, so these two drug dealers.
Wapple just bought his own garter belt at the store and hung it.
I swear.
They got busted thanks to their gingerbread man air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror. It's a hell of a story. Police got a funny feeling when they spotted a Suzuki Swift motor vehicle. I don't know that I've heard of that one before.
Oh, you've probably seen one of those.
The cops
little guys.
spotted. I imagine it's probably a smaller vehicle.
Yeah, tiny sedan.
Police got a funny feeling when they spotted a Suzuki Swift motor vehicle with a large novelty air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror. The car was just a setting. Summers. It was parked. The cops thought the vehicle looked familiar because of the big dumb air freshener. And also the cops had SCMODs. State, County, Municipal Offender Data System. The cops had that going for them. So a check of the SCMODs showed that the car had phony plates and had earlier been spotted in a neighborhood where a drug deal was happening. So the cops waited until a couple of ball bags got into the car and pulled them over on this hunch that they might be riding around town with drugs. And they was right. The suspect in the front passenger seat, he ran like hell, but he was caught right quick. Once the police got to rummaging through the vehicle, they found 150 bags of cocaine and heroines. Everyone in the car was thoroughly batoned and then arrested, and the police chief said the gingerbread man air freshener in the car's front window played a key part in helping us to identify that it was a dirty vehicle. It's quite large, almost obstructing the driver's view, so it just marked the car out for us perfectly.
My favorite story about somebody getting pulled over and then getting busted for drugs was Jason Mewes, who plays Jay in the Jay and Silent Bob movies. He had heroin in the car, and he got pulled over, and somebody asked him, like, well, were you speeding? Were you swerving? He goes, no. And they're like, why did they pull you over? He goes, we were driving around deployed airbags. Yeah, that'll raise a little suspicion.
And not one person in the car had just at all an idea that might be a bad idea?
I think they're so gooned up on heroin that it didn't cross their mind.
I've never done heroin, but I'd like to think I'd have just a little bit of sensibility left.
The glamorous life of a Hollywood movie actor, huh?
Exactly.
Wife plowing Jesus said his buddy got a DWI because he left his gas cap open after leaving the store.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do like those videos of people that pull out of the gas station and they still have the nozzle stuck in there, so they rip it off.
Oh,
They're
that'd be
just
so
driving
embarrassing.
around.
I actually like it better when somebody sets their coffee on top of the car and forgets to take it off the car when they're loading other things in, and then they drive away. I tried to alert a guy once, but after a while I thought, well, he knows what he's doing because that coffee cup didn't move, and he took 2 turns.
You start placing bets how far he's going to get.
Here's another simple detail that got a fool busted. A suspected drug dealer in a place called Staten Island, New York. He got caught with an ass load of drugs because he got on a bus and didn't pay the bus fare. Oh. Some type of bus police saw him hop on the bus without paying. They called the real cops. Normally, if you pull that trick, you don't have much to worry about. Sure, you get a ticket, but so what? I hopped on the bus without paying. No big deal. But this dickhead must be just a stupid idiot. Why would you, like we've said a million times, why would you F around and draw any attention to yourself
For a couple bucks.
When you're more or less covered in drugs?
Yeah. Not worth the risk.
Right. What for? Bus fare? Cops, what did they find? 52 bags of drugs on him. 40 of the bags had cocaine up in them. The other 12 were filled with heroines. This is a 40-year-old guy still acting like this. He's no stranger to drugs and stupid behavior. He just wrapped up 5 years in the Stony Lonesome for drug and weapons charges. He just got paroled a few months ago, and now he's going to go right back in there. Right back in.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't fix stupid, I guess.
No, you cannot. You cannot, Josh.
sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Category Top 10 signs you're not the most popular guy in your high school. Here we go.
Your yearbook photo caption reads, unidentified sophomore. School song includes phrase about how much you suck. The stupid kid who gets his tater tots stolen every day, he steals your tater tots.
Yeah.
Tater tots rule.
Yeah, that's right.
Lord of the Rings figurines, 50. Friends, 0.
Uh-huh. And the number one sign you're not the most popular guy in your high school.
How the heck would I know? I'm like the coolest kid in school. Gosh.
One of my all-time favorites. We were talking about that earlier when Napoleon Dynamite showed up on David Letterman to do the top 10 signs you're not the most popular guy at your school. That one never gets old to me. That was a great character. And, of course, when he was done reading the list, Josh, he awkwardly ran away from the, how do you call it, the stage.
He did.
Like that kind of awkward, clumsy run that he did in the movie. Nap Dynamite. Why in God's name have we not seen a Nap Dynamite Part 2?
That's a good question.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, so he won or Pedro won the election, whatever happened there at the end of the original one. Why don't we get to see what happened when he went to college? Why don't we get to see Nap Dynamite as a married man?
I wish.
Maybe Nap
awesome.
got involved in drugs and guns or something, and he dies terribly. I want to see another version of the movie is where I'm going with this.
I mean, they bring everything back. I could see them bringing it back.
What, is John Heater's phone that busy? I don't think his phone's ringing that much, right? John Heater? Sorry I blew up. Pigs got friggin' spanked at home last night. Oh, that was pumped by the Los Angeles Kings. We'll talk to Mark Foligno at 8 a.m. Ask him what the hell happened out there last night. You know what I'm saying?
Don't phrase it like that.
Well, what the hell happened? You got a home game against the Kings, and you lose by 3. You lose by 4 if you count empty net goals, but you lose by 3, 4 if you count. I'm going to ask him what the hell happened. The Vikings signed a new long snapper, so we'll be talking to him on Friday and every Friday from now on, right?
Well, yeah, we don't want a guy that used to be a long snapper.
Right, the new guy's name is Jake McQuaid, who he sounds like an Australian action hero or something like that. But why would we talk to DePaula? So Friday, Jake McQuaid will join us on the Half-Assed Morning Show, and every Friday from now on. And by God, it's the season and home opener tonight for my beloved Golden Gopher basketball team. You guys couldn't possibly care less about that. Randy Shaver coming up in a half hour. And again at 8 a.m., Marky from the Pigs. Stick around. Josh's News is coming up next.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It is that time of the year at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Schedule your tune-up, boost your indoor air quality, or grab huge deals on a new system. Do not wait. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are the things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Welcome to Talkville, the ultimate Smallville rewatch podcast.
Lionel Luthor stops by the kid home.
Is that Seinfeld? What is the deal?
Trying to blackmail her for the footage.
Come on. He sees an envelope and goes, he must be getting blackmailed.
He's behind it, the whole thing.
He's not.
He is. He made her think she was being blackmailed.
He's the one that... Oh, I didn't get that.
I was surprised. Yeah. That was a great scene.
Interesting things of note.
Talkville, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
As predicted by Thailand's viral baby hippo Mudang, it's been reported former President Donald Trump will become president once again. In a video posted by the zoo where Mu Dang resides last week, the internet sensation had to choose between 2 watermelon cakes, both covered with the name of each presidential candidate. The pygmy hippopotamus picked the watermelon with Trump's name on it, and Americans voted as Dang predicted. Once it was clear Trump was ahead on both the Electoral College and the popular vote, he gave a victory speech thanking voters for electing him again.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And to every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
What did Mu Dang make of all that?
Well, we haven't heard a statement from Mu Dang, but I'd imagine, there's some people are very happy. Some people obviously are not very happy. Mu Dang would probably be at least proud that her prediction came true.
The baby hippo somehow made her way into this.
Well, it's trying to figure out a way to cover politics.
Yeah.
As much as we don't like to talk about it, we got to say something.
I'm not referring to your report. I'm referring to the fact that Mu Dang got involved in this by eating watermelon cakes or whatever you said. That's the part that I'm commenting on. She's everywhere.
And now we're going to run down the rest of the votes, how they went yesterday, starting with the Senate.
Oh, this is what I've been waiting on. But before you start, you have to answer a question for me. What is the Senate?
I don't know. As you could tell, it took me a while to come up with what the word was.
Right.
I could tell you what it is in Star Wars, but in real life, I lack information that might be helpful.
Oh, the Star Wars Senate. They're a tough group to crack.
While some people prefer movies with a happy ending, some others prefer their massages to end with one. Turns out in Texas, even the cops have trouble turning down a hand job at a seedy massage parlor. More than a dozen Texas police officers acted inappropriately while trying to catch prostitution suspects at local massage parlors.
They couldn't help themselves.
They couldn't. They got carried away, the police chief said. Brooke Rollins, the chief, said the misconduct happened between October 2022 and this past June during an undercover operation targeting prostitution in the city. That operation resulted in 23 cases and 32 charges against 28 suspects across 10 businesses. But the Denton County DA ultimately rejected all the cases. The DA's office said it couldn't prosecute because undercover officers engaged in inappropriate physical contact with the suspects, and they were pissed.
They did, didn't they? They were involved in, like, they're there to investigate, but yet they got a HJ on the side skis?
Yeah, at least an HJ. Yeah, because all they had to do was agree on a price, right? Hand over a couple bucks and then say, busted.
Right.
But they thought, well, let's see how committed these ladies are to this. A review found 13 officers had crossed the line by violating the department's policy, which prohibits any physical contact. So once the officers agreed to pay for sexual contact, they had what they needed and should have stopped there, but some didn't.
Now, if you wouldn't mind handing over the $20 for oral sex. Oh, okay. All right, buddy. Here we go. Sorry, I was so quick. Oh, that's all right. Nothing wrong with it. Freeze! You're busted, buddy. I'm a cop. Oh, and you're going to jail for soliciting prostitution.
Now, in the South Park sting, it was the opposite, where the cops were posing as the prostitutes, and they went a little too far. Internal Affairs concluded the officers started out with good intentions, but gradually let their actions go too far.
They had good intentions.
Rollins noted that none of the officers intended to do wrong, but poor judgment and boners took over.
We believe that their focus was decent and that their intentions were well off. We believe that even though they received training and established guidelines on how to operate, they deviated from those training and those guidelines early on.
In the end, 3 officers were fired, 1 demoted, 7 suspended without pay, 2 others received counseling, and some were reassigned. Rollins publicly apologized, calling the incident embarrassing and disappointing.
Yeah, the boners will get you.
It depends on who you are, maybe your upbringing. I think, Josh, if you and I were buddy cops and one of our assignments was prostitution in our city, you would get a medal and I would get a sexually transmitted disease.
Well, sorry, fellow Minnesotans. It sounds like we can no longer eat beaver. Minnesota opened its beaver trapping season Saturday, 5 months after state lawmakers made it illegal under certain circumstances for people to eat the furry rodents. Jokes, complaints, and unanswered questions rose from the Senate floor when the proposed law came up for discussion in May. But even now, as trappers set out to bag the animals, it's unclear why a beaver provision got added to the Minnesota statutes, saying human consumption of a retained beaver is prohibited and they will not let it go down.
We can't eat beaver. That's just ridiculous. I think maybe it got overlooked. I don't know what happened there. What are we talking about? We're talking about the legalities of eating beaver. That's just ridiculous. So I eat beaver. It's fine. I don't know why this is in the bill.
That was an actual conversation there amongst politicians?
Yes, it was. Mm-hmm. He wants to eat beaver. His wife wants him to eat beaver, but the legislature says no. A DNR enforcement official said he wasn't involved in the process and has yet to receive a solid answer for the law's purpose, but he dismissed hearsay suggesting it won't be enforced. If we come across this, we will take appropriate enforcement action, he said. He explained the ban applies to people removing nuisance beavers from their land. I can tell you that even though I personally don't go out and trap beavers to eat them, I have eaten them, and it's pretty good. The toothy herbivores are abundant in Minnesota and are sought out for their fur and oil-producing glands.
Silliness right there, I'll tell you. I like it raw.
You do?
Yeah.
I thought you weren't into it.
No. You're right.
This law won't affect you at all.
No, not at all.
Russian spies reportedly sent packages to Western Europe containing exploding dildos, which did some heavy damage to the boxes they came in. According to investigators, incendiary devices disguised as sex toys were packed into boxes and shipped out.
Really? Meant to kill folks?
Well, it was a test run. I'll explain.
Oh.
It ignited fires at DHL depots in both the UK and Germany. And investigators say the strange erotic shipment may have been a test run for an attack targeting a U.S.-bound flight. On July 22nd, 2 dildo bombs slipped through DHL centers, setting off at least 2 fires. They were hidden among items like erotic gadgets and massage pillows. Now 4 people in Poland are facing charges for alleged sabotage on behalf of foreign intelligence agencies. Polish prosecutors said the group was testing shipping routes, possibly as a prelude to sending similar packages to the U.S. and Canada. Although no country was explicitly named in official reports, Polish intelligence figured Russia, and UK and European officials share that suspicion, interpreting the plot as retaliation for Western support of Ukraine.
Well, that is menacing, the thought of exploding dildos taking down an airplane.
I know. I mean, it's bad enough that you're taking out an airplane, but with exploding dildos.
How many boxes were destroyed?
2 boxes destroyed.
God help us.
Yeah. A 39-year-old man threatened a state trooper at a Florida Wawa Sunday morning, saying he better back up because he has a gun and a bomb. That's too many things. Police received a call at 6:40 a.m. about a man driving a Jeep claiming to have a bomb and for some reason telling everyone he saw he needed gas. The driver exited the highway and ended up at a racetrack convenience store where he came face-to-face with the Florida State Trooper. He reportedly told the trooper he had a gun and a bomb and warned him to back up. The incident didn't end there. The man drove to a nearby Wawa where he crashed into vehicles belonging to officers and troopers who tried to block him in. Finally, authorities managed to stop his vehicle and SWAT took him into custody. Fortunately, no one was injured, and after a search, police found no explosives or guns in his vehicle. So he's a liar on top of everything.
He's just talking smack.
Yeah, he did need gas. That was the only part that was true. A 30-year-old Georgia woman was arrested last week after threatening to shoot a neighbor in the face over a parking spot, of all things. Deputies responded to an apartment complex Friday and met with a woman who said he and his neighbor, the suspect, got into an argument over a parking space. During the argument, the suspect threatened to, quote, shoot him in the face and, quote, Glock his ass, and another, quote, throw a bomb in his effing house. A leasing agent provided audio evidence of the threats, and the nuisance neighbor was arrested. Usually the robbers are the ones already wearing the ski mask, but this time they wanted to buy one first. 4 men approached a 29-year-old Oak Park, Illinois resident between 7 and 7:40 p.m. last Tuesday. They tried to buy a Nike ski mask, but when the resident declined, the men stole it, with one showing a firearm. Police say the robbers left in a black SUV, and there was an estimated loss of $40.
Hang on a second. Criminals were in need of a ski mask?
Probably to do some criminal.
So they could commit a crime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they did a little pre-crime before the bigger crime they wanted to commit.
Instead of going to a clothing store and purchasing a ski mask, they attempted to steal one from a private citizen?
That is correct, yes.
I don't understand the game plan at all.
A 66-year-old man who seems unable to learn a lesson after a pair of previous bank robberies has once again been charged with robbing a bank. Identified as a Pensacola, Florida resident, the senior citizen was spotted fleeing the scene at a Regions bank last Friday afternoon, dressed in a distinctive outfit, a fluorescent yellow safety vest, a large straw hat, and a face mask. Crestview police explained it's not his first run-in with the law. He's actually a Federal Bureau of Prisons parolee from 2 earlier Florida bank robberies in March of '95. After his '95 heist, he was caught trying to clean dye-stained bills through a casino token machine in Mississippi.
This was an elderly man?
Yeah, 66.
Oh, that's not that old. Okay, I was thinking much older than that, because that outfit you described isn't that unusual, if you ask me, for elderly people. But this guy's not that old. You guys have never seen an old-timer walking down the sidewalk with a reflective vest on?
Yes, I have.
But not the straw hat is what makes it different to me.
Oh, okay.
Like if somebody's wearing a straw hat, I picture them wearing either some sort of fishing vest or like a Bermuda shorts and a Hawaiian shirt.
I see.
An Oregon cyclist who was struck by a vehicle, fracturing his nose and leaving him with scrapes and other injuries, has filed a lawsuit against the driver after they picked him up, drove him to a hospital, and then billed him for their service. Ironically, he was hit by an ambulance. And while he probably wasn't expecting to get hit by an ambulance, he definitely wasn't expecting to get billed afterward.
Nah.
The cyclist, a 71-year-old, received a bill for almost $2,000 for an ambulance ride, which his lawyer said is just one part of the significant medical expenses he's accumulated so far, with additional costs anticipated for future treatments. The collision happened as both the cyclist and the ambulance were heading in the same direction down a street lined with homes and businesses. The ambulance driver attempted to turn right onto another road, but in the process hit the cyclist and crushed his bike. To make it even more strange, the accident took place right outside the ambulance provider's station as the vehicle was returning from another call. The driver and a passenger in the ambulance said they were moving between 2 and 10 miles per hour when they heard a thump, thump, stopped, and discovered that injured cyclist. They billed him.
That's so bogus.
What's that going to cost him, Josh, for getting run over by an ambulance?
Well, it was a couple grand is what they billed him for.
God dang.
A man's behind bars after allegedly setting multiple fires in St. Paul. According to reports, things kicked off about 8:50 p.m. Tuesday when a 2009 Honda Civic was discovered engulfed in flames. The suspect, a 38-year-old man, was already on police radar for setting a porta potty on fire earlier that day. He made 2 911 calls, the last one at 8:33 p.m., which put him on the department's radar. Officers started searching and eventually found him lying outside the entrance of a building in St. Paul. Court documents reveal he had a spray can of oven cleaner and a lighter in his possession. When officers arrived, he reached for that spray can. As they tried to take it from him, things escalated. He reportedly kicked an officer and even managed to spray him with the cleaner. It wasn't until cops put on gas masks that they were able to get the can away from him and make the arrest. Surrounding him were a collection of items: clothes, 5 lighters, an empty gas can, 2 flashlights, a cell phone, and the oven cleaner spray. Then in North Carolina, authorities were also dealing with an arson case last week. A Walmart had several fires set inside the store, prompting a 911 call early last Monday morning. They were dispatched after reports of a man starting multiple fires in the store. A 34-year-old was later identified and arrested. No motive has been shared for that incident. Fireball has a new whiskey just for football fans who want to take gloating to a new level, made from the tears of heartbroken football fans. Fireball Whiskey's collecting tears from disappointing fans after their team loses to create Crier Ball, capturing the flavor of the true spirit of game day, blending heartbreak with the cinnamon sweetness of Fireball, the press release said.
They don't really expect us to believe that, Do they?
They're claiming tear collectors will be posted outside some of the season's biggest NFL and college rivalry games.
And they're really going to mix the tears of human beings into their new hooch?
As fans leave, they'll use eyedroppers and jars to collect tears, they said. Those tears then go through a sterilization and distillate. How do you pronounce that?
I'm going to go with distillation.
Yeah, okay, I was on.
Yeah, you know things.
For some reason, my brain decided that it wasn't that for a second. It's going to go through that process before becoming crier ball. In football, few things are better than the sweet taste of victory, especially when that W comes at the expense of your biggest rivals, the Fireball's global brand director said. Our brand's all about embracing the competitive spirit, but with a little more spice, he said. Some games where tear collectors will appear include Sunday's Eagles versus the Cowboys matchup, next week's Packers-Bears game, and late in the month, the Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn, November 30th. The limited edition whiskey is expected to be ready for next football season.
That's hilarious. They're still raking in the bucks over there at the Fireball joint, aren't they?
Oh, it seems pretty darn
popular.
I remember, though, more like 10, 12 years ago, you couldn't cross the street without some young person shouting something about Fireball.
Gross.
Oh, I thought you liked it.
No, I absolutely hate it. The one thing I love about
Everybody loves
Fireball,
it.
though, is when a listener texted in and called it bitch whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget that.
That was pretty good.
Liquor stores were selling like trick or treat packs of mini shots of Fireball to hand out to parents when they come by with their kids.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned before when I was allowed to trick or treat with my children, there were certain homes that would hand those little alcohol bottles out to the parents. Oscar winner Emma Stone is 36, Ethan Hawke 54. Happy birthday shout out to hot Byron Mom Jesus from her favorite brother, Hardwater Hooligan Jesus, and that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
He beat us, he hammered us with his arm, he ran when he needed to, and we did not handle it well.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
And somebody in a parachute has just landed on the edge of the ring, has been pulled away by security guards. The fight has been brought to a halt. There's a massive melee at ringside as this fellow with a motorized parachute has landed right on top of spectators and officials at ringside.
Randy Shaver, how you doing there, brother?
Good morning. Doing all right.
Jim Lampley, is that his name? Jim Lampley on the call there.
Yes.
I absolutely love it when we get a chance to reminisce about the Fan Man. I really do. And I guess it was on this date in 1993 that the Evander Holyfield Riddick Bowe boxing match in Vegas was interrupted in the 7th round by the friggin' Fan Man, some wacky sumbitch with a paraglider strapped to his back, ended up landing in the damn ring. For my money, I think it was the most unhinged, unreal, out-of-this-world moment maybe in the history of televised sports. Can you think?
Well, I was going to say, just the fact the guy did what he did. I mean, I don't think there were a lot of people that even thought that the act of landing in the ring from, because I believe they were at Caesars, right? They were outside.
Outdoors, yeah, outdoors.
Yeah. And just the fact the guy just came out of nowhere and landed there was enough to throw everybody off. But, yeah, I mean, I can't think of another, other than maybe Morgana, the kissing bandit, coming onto the field and people anticipating or having to stop and be shocked by what they see.
Had she taken her top off, maybe she would fall under that category.
I don't know if she had to take it off.
She didn't really. It was obvious what she was packing.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Yes, we were watching when the earthquake hit the 1989 World Series.
Sure.
But that's a natural, give me
right.
a smart person's way to say that, Josh. That's a
natural disaster.
Natural thing.
That's an act of God.
An act of God. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Well, some would say Morgana the Kissing Bandit was an act of God, too.
Oh, boy.
But
Yes.
if you are a younger person and you do not know the story of the Fan Man and that night in Las Vegas, look it up and read every word of it. Watch all the videos. You won't believe that it actually happened. I'm very happy to say that I was watching it live. And I'll never forget how all of us, this was up at St. Cloud State, hanging around at a party house, and we had a bunch of, cold beer watching this Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield fight. There was 45 seconds where nobody said a word because no one could really fully understand what we were seeing at first.
Right.
It was so incredible to see this effing guy pop out of nowhere with a fan on his back and a parachute, lands kind of on the ropes, gets all friggin' kitty-wampus and tangled up. The most interesting part, I shouldn't say that because obviously a man with a fan on his back landing in the middle of a heavyweight fight in front of hundreds of thousands, millions of people, that's the most interesting part. But one of the side notes was that for some reason, once he landed, half in the ring and half in the crowd, a lot of the crowd's idea was, let's beat this guy senseless.
Right.
Which never made any sense to me. Josh, why did they think that they had to beat up the Fan Man once he landed?
Well, you've been to a fight before. You kind of want to beat somebody up.
That's
right?
true.
That seemed like a reasonable, maybe reasonable is the wrong word, but a target that would be pretty. He made himself a target.
Once the guy landed, a lot of folks decided, well, let's beat this guy within an inch of his life. So he's more or less asleep there for a while because somebody knocked him out. I mean, again, look it up, watch the videos. I cherish that memory. That was just, okay, fine. You might say, what about when Tyson bit Holyfield's ear? Of course, that was shocking and disgusting, but I don't think anything can top the Fan Man unless someone can text in something else.
People are talking about the Janet Jackson incident.
Janet Jackson's little nipple, okay.
That changed broadcasting.
It did. It did. It had a massive impact.
How about when the two crazies jumped out of the stands and attacked the White Sox first base coach?
That was disgusting.
Dude.
Yeah.
During the course of a game.
They were father-son, weren't they?
Malice in the Palace also was something.
Malice in the Palace, yeah.
Which was the Indiana Pacers fighting all the fans in the stands in Detroit. You could go back to when the New York Rangers and Boston Bruins played hockey and the Rangers jumped into the Bruins jumped into the stands and beat up some fans. But fights at a game, things like that. I still don't think that can match up with a weirdo with a fan on his back landing in the middle of a bout. I just don't think all of those moments are very, very memorable. Randy Shaver bringing up the attack at the old Comiskey Park in Chicago. That was actually a Kansas City Royals first base coach that was attacked.
Oh, Royals first base, yeah.
The Royals were playing, and again, young people, look these things up if you've never heard of it. The Royals are playing in Chicago, and on a random play, two guys, a father and son.
That's right.
Jump out of their seats. These guys were shirtless. Just meth addict, garbage people. If you look that up, I believe they both had been arrested numerous times for drugs and in and out of prison. They were a father-son meth rock combination. They come out of the stands and they made their best effort to brutally beat up the, 70-year-old Royals first base coach. This is fun to talk about. Randy Johnson hitting the bird with a pitch. Absolutely. But again, it's a pitcher throwing a baseball. There's something expected there. There's, you know what I'm saying?
And that was a spring training game, too. Nobody was watching it live. We just saw the replay of it afterwards.
Right. Okay, here's a guy bringing up the 1986 World Series parachute guy. Was it the same? Was that the same parachute guy? I remember something about that. Oh, Disco Demolition. That's a good one. That one.
White Sox. Yeah.
That's the closest I can come. How does a grown person say that? That's the closest I can think of that would match up with the Fan Man. outrageous, but a great memory. Unfortunately, if I remember correctly, the fan man died.
Yeah, sad, tragically. He's only 38.
I'll tell you what. That's a fun way to start the program. Folks are texting in their ideas for the most outrageous damn act ever committed on a ball field. There was a Stillers game, according to a listener named Simon, where the whole football field sunk into the ground.
He's making a Batman reference.
Oh.
A what?
He's making a Dark Knight reference.
Batman, the movie?
The Dark Knight Rises, there's a bad guy, and he causes the entire stadium field to collapse while the players are playing on it.
When Twin Spans threw wieners at Chuck Knobloch. When Draymond Green kicked somebody in the balls. These are all fun memories. But back to this joke about the field sinking into the ground. Didn't that really happen a few years ago? A soccer field, I want to say it was a college soccer field. Luckily, there was nobody on the field. But a sinkhole swallowed up the field. Can someone look that up for me?
Yep, you're correct.
And there was video, just security video again. There was nobody out there.
Yep, it was an Illinois soccer field. A drone video got it, actually. It's
here's
30 meters across.
Rickshaw Jesus. What about when Damar Hamlin died in front of everyone? Absolutely.
Gosh, that was just
terrifying.
That was completely shocking.
All of these are
terrifying.
Are very interesting. Very interesting. I love this kind of stuff. Monica Seles being stabbed on the court by some wacky bastard with a steak knife in his hand. The Fog Bowl. I think that was also 1988. Clint Malarchuk's head coming off during the hockey game.
How do we forget that one?
But that fan man, people were beating him with their cell phones. And in 1993, a cell phone was the size of your foot and weighed 30 pounds. And you son of a bitch, you interrupted they're beating him with their cell phones.
Do you remember how long it took them to kind of get everything calmed down, the fight to get started back up?
I think it was probably around an hour.
Was it?
If I remember right, Dane. It was a long time ago, but I think it was about an hour before they got the freaking guy untangled and everybody settled the hell down.
Oh, yeah, we got a boxing match to finish.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure, the gobbledygooker. The Undertaker murdering Stephanie McMahon Helmsley.
Owen Hart. Texting in on Owen Hart.
No. I was just thinking about him yesterday, actually.
Bartman and the guy's leg that broke and the Louisville. Yes, thank you for all these. I love reminiscing. I do. I'm a reminiscing kind of guy. That's what originally drew me to the Little River Band, Randy Shaver. Is my want for reminiscing.
What about Bubba Ray putting Mae Young through a table?
That look on his face, it haunts me to this day. That empty look on his face, that vacant look that he had.
What about when Mae Young gave birth to a hand?
Oh, man. I watched that with my parents. How do you think that went? That was great.
Did you really?
Yeah. Well, my dad and I watched Raw every week together back in the Attitude Era, middle school, and then I think my mom just happened to be coming through the room and like, oh, what are you guys watching? So she's like, so this is what you guys watch? An elderly woman just gave birth to a hand. This is how you guys bond together.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Some great things have happened in the world of. So the Vikings had to go ahead and sign a veteran long snapper yesterday, Randy Shaver, to take Depot's place, not only on the roster, but here on the Half-Ass Morning Show. Jake McQuaid is the feller's name. Sounds like an apocalyptic movie hero, doesn't he, Jake McQuaid?
Yeah.
He might ride through an apocalyptic wasteland on the back of a donkey, and he's here to save the world. So we'll be talking to Jake on Fridays from now on. Of course, I'm kidding, Randy Shaver.
Yeah, are you there, Randy?
I'm here.
Randy?
Oh, yeah.
Randy?
I'm here.
Okay. We're not really going to talk to Jake McQuaid.
I didn't think you were being serious, but
he better not get comfortable here. I'll tell you that. Tell this Jake McQuaid. Tell him I said he better not get comfortable. We already got a long snapper. He's got something wrong with his hand. We'll straighten it out.
Yeah, get an extended stay hotel. Don't sign a lease or anything.
No.
Yeah.
But he's been around forever, and I'm sure he's very trustworthy, and we wish him all the luck in the world. Tough shoes to fill. By damn.
Did they also sign the kicker? I haven't seen.
They did, Randy Shaver. So the Vikings.
Who did they sign?
Regular kicker is how you say it. Willie Reichard. He's got a quad problem, so they replaced him with a familiar kicker, they say, by the name of John Parker by damn Romo. And I guess what's familiar about John Jacob.
Been in the training camp before or whatever.
He tried out for the club this summer, but he didn't get the gig. Willie Reichard did. That's what I understand.
Okay.
He is, by the way, don't get nervous, Vikings fans, because Willie Reichard has got to have his thigh worked out, or his quad, or whatever it is. Don't be nervous, because Willie Romo is the greatest kicker in the history of the XFL.
Yes. XFL All-Star.
XFL. I thought I already had that bit covered, but whatever. Gimmick infringement. John Parker Romo, greatest kicker in the history of the XFL. The trade deadline came and went with the Vikings, and they decided, other than those moves that they needed to fill, they stood pat, Randy Shaver.
Not surprised. Again, we've talked about it a lot, that they didn't have a lot of trade equity. And to be honest with you, I think because they're reasonably healthy, that they didn't feel like they had to make a move. I think that they're in a pretty good position. I know that there was an article, or there was some talk of strengthening their defensive line with some additional help, but that didn't happen. So I think all in all, they've put themselves in a decent position. And again, it's all about staying healthy. And if they can stay healthy with their key players, they should be okay.
So the Vikings aren't a she. I guess they could be. They didn't make any bodacious trades, nothing at all. Says here the most notable move of the NFL trade deadline was made by my club, the Washington Commodores. It says here they swung for the fences and acquired a running back named Marshawn Lattimore in not a running back, a cornerback, in a blockbuster deal with the New Orleans Saints. Okay, that's the big deal. Marshawn Lattimore.
4-time Pro Bowl guy, yeah.
4-time Pro Bowl guy. We'll see about that. He better be a 4-time Pro Bowl guy if he's going to try to jump into the mix with my Commodores. Former Viking wide receiver Adam Thielen has a new team. He's got his ass traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday in exchange for...
Oh, he did?
Yeah, you didn't know about Adam.
I didn't see that, no.
He hasn't been playing because he's got something wrong with him. He's still on the injured reserve, but when he's healthy, what a dream come true to be able to catch passes thrown by a living legend like Russell Wilson.
Well, that's the whole key, is can he get healthy?
Unlimited.
Yeah, Adam Thielen's going to go play for a first-place club now.
They also traded for Mike Williams, the former very short-time New York Jet, who was basically out of a job once they signed Devontae Adams. So,
the Steelers signed him too?
As they signed Mike Williams, yeah.
I think I know who that guy is, and I think I'm right about that. I think Pittsburgh's a first-place team.
They are. They are. They're playing very well. Mike Tomlin's great coach. Yeah.
Mikey Tomlin. Here's a text message from a listener that says, I thought the Vikings were going to trade Jordan Addison for a sober person. No, they did not. They didn't trade Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
Super foxy Fox sideline reporter Aaron Andrews has been called out by the dorks and the 8th graders on social media. Because over the weekend, when she was on the sidelines there covering the Detroit Lions Green Bay Packers game, people are upset because she made up a weather report.
Some people say that's kind of what happens, right?
I don't know if she made up did she make up a weather report, or was she just reporting what she saw with the weather?
Who friggin' cares is my answer to that, Randy Shaver. But, people need a reason to cry.
I watched some of that game, and she was talking about the weather. I didn't think she made up a weather report.
People are telling me that Adam Thielen didn't get traded. I read this morning on a website that he got.
I never saw that.
I didn't know it was official. Yeah. I know that was there was one of the things, like a rumor yesterday that it was going to happen.
Yeah, they were having trouble trying to figure out payment and stuff like that.
Well, I heard he got traded. If he didn't, trust me, I'll live. So Erin Andrews, during the Packer-Lion game, she reported on weather conditions. She said they were expecting 43-mile-per-hour wind gusts with a chance of thunder and lightning during the game.
Okay.
A meteorologist who works in the neighborhood there in Green Bay jumped on social media and said she was tired of Erin Andrews making up weather reports. And the meteorologist said, "This makes me irrationally angry." The meteorologist's name is Sam Cuffle.
Well, was she wrong about what she was saying?
Yes. Erin Andrews apparently was wrong about what she was saying, and this meteorologist went as far as to share a radar image of the entire state of Wisconsin, which didn't show any of what Erin Andrews claimed was on its way. So then the social media dorks went after Erin Andrews as well. Who friggin' cares?
I know. I hope she issues a public apology.
I
Maybe
do
goes
too.
to rehab.
Right.
She's really got to repair her image here.
You can tell me it's going to be raining headless sex dolls during a ball game. What do I care when I'm sitting at home on my couch?
I know. It's so dumb.
It is.
Yeah, it became a thing yesterday, didn't it?
Josh, do you have any idea who farted on the San Antonio Spurs bench the other night?
I don't.
Oh, my God.
Whoever it was, it must have been really, really bad.
I thought for it to reach Wembanyama's nose, it's scary.
Wembanyama?
Yeah, does it travel that high normally?
I mean, that's, without dissipating, that's pretty good.
This is part of the fun of the National Basketball Association regular season, is 2 or 3 times a year. Cameramen and whatnot who work these games every night, they know what they're doing, because 2 or 3 times a year we get a video of an entire roster of players on the bench just reeling in disgust because somebody dropped ass. And it's one of my favorite things. And we got our first of the year. Spurs players were visibly upset during player intros before their game against the Clippers on Monday. It looked like somebody's stomach gave way and there was a terrible fart cut loose on the bench.
Especially the cone. He looked absolutely furious.
He was pissed.
He didn't find that funny at all.
Older guys, see, the older I get, the less funny I find gas. So
I still see the humor.
I don't.
See, this is what happens when Greg Popovich is no longer on the bench.
Things are falling apart.
There's no way that would have happened with Pop sitting on the bench.
None of these players would have had the guts, and I'm not trying to be cute with that, to ass like that with Greg Popovich.
Right.
So the website I was looking at, USA Today, you got to watch the video. Is that up on our website?
No, it's not.
We got to get the Spurs fart video up on our website.
Who was the guy that was kind of like owning it a little bit?
I'll get there, Wapple.
Strutting.
I'll get there. Because USA Today decided to break this down. It's like a CSI type thing.
Yeah, they went through each suspect.
They have 4 suspects. And here they are, ranked from the least likely to the most likely. The first is Wembanyama.
Wembanyama?
They say he's definitely innocent. They say he was the first one who seemed to notice it. And even though, the old slogan is whoever smelt it, dealt it, they say Wembanyama looked way too disgusted. And he puts his nose inside his shirt. They're saying he's an innocent man. The cone.
See, I was just going to say, if a person actually did it, the last thing they'd do is put their nose inside their shirt.
Right.
Right. Because it would travel up through their shirt, so they're not going to do that.
That's a good point. Your theory is that the fart will then travel up the bottom of the shirt and reach
Of course it will.
Okay.
Sure.
Now you're thinking.
USA Today is saying Chris Paul, the cone, is too mad to be guilty, like Josh said. He is not happy that he had to deal with this, and they say only a psycho would get mad about their own farts. So Chris Paul is not a suspect. I want to say it was Chris Paul because I'm so sick of that guy, but it's not Chris Paul. Another member of the Spurs named Julian Champagny. I saw him play the other night against the Timberwolves. I'm sure that's the wrong pronunciation. He's also a suspect. They say he's only a suspect because he was in, as they call it, the blast zone. He was right there in the middle of the bench when everyone started running away, and
I think it's that guy.
They're going with Jeremy, and again, I'm sorry, I just watched the Spurs the other night. I know who this guy is, but I'm not entirely sure. Jeremy Sohan, however, you guys know who I'm talking about.
That's who I think it is.
Yep.
The guy with the red hair.
It's obvious. It's obvious it was him.
He's having a good time with it.
He's laughing while walking out.
He also got put on the injured list after the game.
Because of the
so
fart?
maybe it was him.
He blew out his back.
He prolapsed his anus.
He had a prolapse or a blowout of some sort. I did not know that. He went on the injured list. Well, then that's not.
Yeah. He's on one of my fantasy teams. That's how I know. I found out this morning.
They mention in the article that this is an absolute nuclear blast, but yet this Jeremy Sochan guy is laughing, so they close it out by saying not only is it obvious that he's the farter, but he's also one of those dudes who thinks all of his farts are funny, and those are the worst kind of farters.
Oh, my gosh, I hate those people.
I do, too.
It can be kind of funny.
It's not.
No.
They say they're the sort of people who take pleasure in robbing you of one of your senses for the next 5 minutes, and that's not right. It's Wednesday morning. It's 8 o'clock, and you know it's time to jaw jack with a member of the Minnesota Wild. Oh, he's our favorite member, Marcus Foligno. What's going on, Marcus?
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Well, we're doing well. We appreciate you getting up and calling us, morning after a hockey game. I don't know how often we put you in that position, but we appreciate that because you're probably a little beat.
No, all good. Anything for you guys.
Is gas a problem on the bench in the National Hockey League? My first question, is player gas a problem on the bench or the locker room or anywhere else as a professional in the National Hockey League?
Player gas?
Player gas.
You talking like the Russian gas?
Well, I don't even know what's the Russian gas.
Oh, I don't know. It's whatever Kirill Kaprizov's on. I wish I had that. That's what we call it. I don't know. Those guys can just go for 30 minutes every night. I can go for 12 minutes a night.
Okay, different kind of gas.
Some sort of gas. Yeah.
Different kind of gas.
We're talking about a different...
Bad tummy.
We were just telling a story, Marcus Foligno. I don't know if you've got the internet. I don't know if you've got the internet in front of you, but there was a San Antonio Spurs basketball game a night or two ago, and the boys are all on the bench, and they're being introduced, a road game. Here they are for the Spurs, number one, Victor Wembanyama. And the team scatters. They're all disgusted. Players are hiding their noses.
No.
Because somebody dropped a bomb on the bench. And everyone's talking about it. Yeah.
That gas. Yeah, that happens time for time. That's for sure. Some guys have it depends on the pregame meal. You know, the meat sauce might be a little bit too much meat to whatever they use. So some guys' stomach gets a little bit woozy, and you usually blame it on a trainer or assistant coach. So.
I bet that just lingers in the
it happens.
too.
Of course it happens. The locker room has got to be the worst spot for that.
Oh yeah, I mean guys are constantly letting it go. You just hope that it's not lingering. It's just air. But there's some good ones. Some guys have tough times holding it in during meetings. So that's the tough part.
You hold it in during a meeting.
If you do it during a meeting, some coaches lose it.
Oh, yeah.
Good. I like those coaches. Those are my friends.
I can believe it, because we're trying to pay attention. We're trying to cover some schemes and some designs and this and that, and it's distracting.
Yeah.
Don't most of you guys try to be careful with that pre-game meal? I mean, come on, you can't be going to an Italian restaurant and having a pile of linguine with spicy, right? Don't you try to be? Isn't it?
I mean, you try to stay light. I mean, it's just yeah. I mean, there's some great restaurants on the road, right? You got to try them all. So I'm a big Italian guy, so I like the Italian spots, and sometimes you pay the price the next day. They got a little bit too much spice going on, but it's
teammates do.
It's you know what? You just hope that it gives you some good energy the next day. All those carbs.
Yeah, sometimes you pay the price. I like the way you said that. And of course, it must be tempting on the road. My God, I mean, you guys can hit all these steakhouses and this, and it's a wonder that some of you don't get. I mean, of course, you're out there burning calories like a bastard out on the ice, but it's a wonder some of you don't, maybe put on some weight.
Oh yeah, we do. I mean, if you're not the road trips, they get a little long where you're just playing games, not a lot of practice. When you practice, it gets burned pretty quick. But if you're just playing games, you got to be careful what you're eating because there's some days off in between there that you can lie around and the steak will just keep sitting in there. So yeah, it's. You get to some pretty good steakhouses on the road and things like that, but you got to be careful. I was always told that you can eat your way out of the NHL. So with the amount of food that we can consume, it's so you got to be careful what you eat.
I bet you can eat your way right out of the league. Now, since we're a classy program, I want to continue. I want to continue asking you about farts. Years ago, when we used to have Zach Parise on this program, he told us he never liked being out front the net with what the hell's his name?
PK Subban.
Zach said he never liked being in front of the net tangling with PK Subban because he said PK Subban would sometimes drink a lot of coffee before a game so he could drop bombs in the goal crease to get forwards out of there.
Oh man, I've heard some goalies doing it just to let their crease stink up a little bit. It's a good tactic if you think about it. You don't want to be there. You're not going to get those rebounds. You're not going to get the screenshots. So
yeah, I'm not going in there for that rebound. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to eat farts. You're going to eat pucks. Which one do you want? So
Nick, you have to remember.
It's a bad combo.
You have to help me remember, but we used to talk to a Minnesota Twin. Was it Trevor May that told us this story?
No, it was Joe Mays.
For sure, I thought it was before Joe Mays. But okay, so Joe Mays.
You talking about fart bottle roulette?
Yeah, he told us about a game called fart bottle roulette. They got a lot of downtime.
Baseball players, yeah.
Oh man.
Somebody would fill a bottle, they'd spin it, and whoever it landed on had to smell it.
God.
You gotta think pink guy went around there. In some of these rooms, you got to think that whoever lost that game had something going on the next morning.
Do you know any professional baseball players, Marcus Foligno?
Not. We met a couple, but didn't get close with anyone on the Twins or anything like that. So
they are disturbed people.
They are, huh?
They are because they have.
Well, I was thinking, if you're talking about the fart gate, I was thinking there's no better place to do it than a catcher, right?
Yeah.
Like that guy's standing in there. He doesn't want to stand in there. So I mean, that's a great. That
but the umpire's standing in there too. So.
Poor ump, yeah.
You don't want to, Randy Shaver. You don't want to get on the bad side of the umpire either.
Oh gosh, no. That's the last thing you want to do is do that. Yeah.
You got some guys eating a bowl of chili before the game or something. I don't know. That's tough.
No, but you're right. I mean, if you're the catcher, you could do some real damage, and then send a couple of signs to your pitcher to waste a couple. You know what I mean? Let's make this last a little.
Plus, you're in positions that probably make it tough to keep it in. I'd imagine as a
yes, you are.
Catcher.
You're kind of folded in half. But like Josh said, baseball players have so much downtime. They're disturbed individuals because they sometimes go a long ways to kill the boredom. I'm sure you'll run into a pro ball player. You're more likely to run into one than we would. Ask them about some of the stories. It's unbelievable.
Fart bottle roulette.
Well,
I'll never forget.
I couldn't believe we got to go down, I think, in the fifth inning one game. It was kind of a rainy game. This was a couple of years ago. We went with a couple of guys at the end of the season. And we got to go in down the fifth inning, and I couldn't believe the room. Like, they got tables out. You can see kind of like some cards were on the table, and then they got these. I remember they had like these 4 or 5 big lazy boy massage chairs in the middle of the room. So I'm sitting on one of these things having a cold beer, and I was just like, this is what these guys do. And then in walks the pitcher, I forget his name, and he sat down with us and just started talking with us, getting a massage in the lazy boy chair.
And he had just left the ball game?
He had just left the ball game. I'm like, don't you have to be out there? He's like, nah, I usually come in here, ice my shoulder, and just, wait till the game's over. I'm like, this is the craziest dynamic of sports I've ever seen.
So instead, was it Pablo Lopez, maybe?
No, it was
Bailey Ober.
God, I gotta go back.
Bailey Ober, Randy Shaver, or some of the other Twins pitchers.
Well, Sonny Gray comes to mind, but I
no, it wasn't Sonny Gray. I remember him. Yeah.
Okay. Well, but so it was around the fifth. That would make sense if a starter got pulled around the fifth inning, right? Twins fans. And so instead of hanging around the clubhouse or in the dugout, he came back and hung out with you guys on that lazy boy for a while.
Yeah, normally pitchers end up getting pulled, come back and shower, and they're done. I mean, they're not going back in the game, and there's nothing they can do.
Wow, to me they're allowed to leave the team. I mean, I get it though. Like it's just like I said, different dynamic. Usually you're supposed to stay on the bench, cheer your team on. But these guys are, hey man, my night's over.
Yeah. Well,
maybe it's fun.
Find a second career, maybe. Can you turn a double play? Can you hit for average?
Outfield, not too bad. I mean, especially if you got gas, it's a perfect place to be.
Well, you took a loss last night to the L.A. Kings, Marcus Foligno. I'm sure you're not too torn up about it. It's your first loss at home. Things have been looking pretty good for you boys overall.
Yeah, you know what? Last night just came down to opportunities, and we didn't cash in on our opportunities when we had them. So, I mean, honestly, I thought it was a tough game. LA always plays a different style where it's very defensive and very, mistake-free and want you to, create the odd man rushes and stuff like that and for them, and you try to take a gamble on your systems. And for the most part, 40 minutes, we felt good. I mean, we had some chances, we had some looks, we had some power plays. It's just one of those things where they were opportunistic, we weren't, and the score looked worse than it actually was. But it's always a little bit of a chess match versus the LA Kings, and you got to try to hang in there and make the most of your opportunities, and we didn't. And we took the loss, so it's just regroup now, and we got a great road swing here where we got three teams that are very beatable, and we just got to get back to our game, and we'll be just fine.
I never even wrote down where you're going next. Who's your next opponent?
We're up to San Jose today. We play them tomorrow, then Anaheim on Friday, back-to-back.
Okay.
And then we fly all the way back to Chicago and go play them on Sunday. So,
you mentioned you get to play your brother's club on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm going to be excited for that, to get a little day in Chicago on Saturday with him and the family, so it'll be fun to see him and the kids.
And then kick his ass in the game.
Kick their ass, absolutely. That's a given.
You mentioned the Russian kid earlier. Boy, he took a puck to the mush last night. How many stitches did he end up wearing around for the rest of the night?
He's got a good Joker smile going right now. So we were calling him last night. Poor kid. He's got a fat lip. I was making him laugh during the intermission, and I think he kept opening up and bleeding. So I don't know if it was tough. It was a bad like deflection, and man, when those pucks hit you, it kind of opens and splits you right up. So he'll be fine though. That guy will just he'll be on the Russian gas in no time, and he'll be right back at it tomorrow.
Russian gas. I like how you were intentionally making him smile to split his stitches for him. That's a good teammate right there.
I've had a couple of those, so I know how it feels. But no, that guy doesn't feel pain. He's a different human. So he's been having an unbelievable start to our season, and that's why we're having the success we're having. Speaking of taking a shot to the yap, I got to say I've always really loved watching Drew Doughty play hockey for the LA Kings. I'm sorry, is he someone? Have you tango? Is he someone you you like him or not, Drew Doughty?
Yeah, you know what? I'm a big fan of Drew's because he just competes every night. Like, he doesn't care who you are. Like, he'll just go and he'll hit you. He gets up and down the ice. He's one of the better defensemen in our league, but he laughs while he's doing it. It's crazy. He's a gamer. So I always like playing against those guys because they're fun to compete against. Like, he goes after all the best players, and because he's one of the best players. But He's an interesting bird. He's got a lot of energy, that guy, and I know you're probably bringing up that nice smile of his. Missing all the front missing teeth. It's beautiful.
I love hearing that he plays crazy. Like you said, he's out there laughing a little bit while he's.
Yeah.
And he's
like I'll go and hit him sometimes, and he'll just start laughing at me, like when I run him over or something. Like he'll just take it. Like it's kind of comical. You look back, you're like, what's wrong with this guy?
Mm-hmm. And
so he plays a little mind games with you.
You're right. I was going to mention his beautiful smile. Now, one of my favorite things about watching and following Drew Doughty is seeing his, what's the term, Josh? The team picture, his individual picture profile on the Kings website. He always smiles this broad smile, even though he's missing piles of chiclets. I was just going to ask, are you responsible for any of Drew Doughty's missing teeth, Marcus Foligno?
No, I don't think so. I think he took a puck right to the mouth his early years.
Yeah.
I think maybe year 2 or 3 when he started playing, and I think you can slide a hockey puck through that front gap. So, no, not responsible for any of those lost ones, but
okay.
There's been some times where I've clipped some people by accident, and hey, it happens to the best of us. We all got missing teeth in this game. I think majority of us do.
Yep. Now, there was a scary episode last night in the St. Louis Blues game. I don't know if you caught video of this. A forward for the Blues.
I saw that, yeah.
By the name of
Dylan Holloway.
Yeah, he took a pup. Pup isn't a hockey term. He took a puck right to the friggin' windpipe, and it was kind of odd because he continued to play. He went on a rush up ice, finished his shift, came back to the bench, and then suddenly it appeared he was having some troubles. And Blues personnel and whatnot called some medics over. He was put on a stretcher. He was wheeled into the dressing room. He was eventually taken to the hospital. I haven't gotten any word on what exactly happened or this or that, but the last report I did see that he was alert and stable and he was going to be monitored overnight. So that was kind of a freaky thing.
Yeah, you know what? I think just probably obviously he experienced something. I think it was like 20 seconds after a shift or something that he went back to the bench and then started feeling weird or something was off. And I don't know if he alerted the medical guy behind him, but they also did a great job in St. Louis just to kind of shut it down and ask for some help. And I think with the neck, you just never know, right? You don't know if it's you'd rather be safe than sorry. So, yeah, you know, it's a scary situation, too, because anything that gets up in there, especially your windpipe or your esophagus, whenever you can get your Adam's apple hit and you can stop breathing or whatever. It's a scary situation, man. And a lot of things happen in our game that it just happens so fast. And there's always something new, you know, that we haven't seen before. So it kind of shocks the hockey world a little bit. But we got unbelievable medical staff that deal with a lot of abrupt and different scenarios. So, you know, thank God for them, but never like to see, you know, that those guys in that way get hurt. So hopefully he's doing all right.
But like you said, it's got to be nice when you're out there to know that you've got staff waiting on the bench that are prepared for just about anything and everything. I mean, we've seen anything and everything on the ice in NHL games in the last how many years. We've seen terrible cuts and guys having trouble breathing, and so it must be comforting to know that those fellas are there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, they're unbelievable docs too. They're the nicest guys, and I mean, you see in the NFL too, right? Like, guy goes down, and you got you got the guys right there on standby. You know, you got probably the best surgeons in the world that are on the field with you, so they know exactly, you know, how to diagnose you properly and all that stuff. So it's just comforting knowing that you have those people right there instantly.
No doubt. We could use some medical staff around here, I think. Sometimes. I have a little trouble breathing sometimes, Josh.
You get worked up.
I do. I get hyped.
I think Josh has trouble breathing sometimes too. At least back in the old days, he used to, sitting in the same room with you, Nick.
Yes.
Hopefully none of you guys got the gas issues going on today.
Yeah, that's what Randy's referencing, because he's disgusting.
Take a Tums and Hopefully that works.
Josh knows that my don't stink, so he sits here.
I
Just
hear
fine.
it way more than anything else.
Yeah, he hears it. He doesn't.
And I hear a lot of it. There's times, now I know you don't think it's funny, but there's times it's so textbook. I've told you, if there was an audio dictionary, like that was perfect. That's what a fart should be. That's a man's fart right there.
It's
oh man!
Can you imagine having a medical staff here? You know what we really need? We need to know. Well, we do now. But we need to know where the fire extinguishers are. Marcus, did you know our control board started on fire one day and we had to shut the show down?
Come on!
It legitimately just went up in flames in front of us.
That was such a fun day.
And we were so unprepared. We had no idea where a fire. It took us forever to find one, but now now we know where they are.
I still can't get that smell out of my head.
Yeah.
Like I can just feel it all over again.
I remember driving home.
You get to update the soundboard or what?
No.
It's older than most people here.
Yeah.
Marcus, they just put the fire out.
That's about it.
I want to define that day as bittersweet. That's how I would define that day. Because when the fire started, I was so happy.
You were. It was amazing.
That's true. You were happy.
Yep.
I was so pleased to see fire and smoke shooting out of our soundboard because I just thought, yeah, we could use 4 or 5 days off. There's no way we can come.
Oh, I thought it was just the chance to use a fire extinguisher. I've yet to use one of those suckers, and I always wanted to, but never in my own house. But that's one thing that I'm like, I want to fire one of these things, but you're probably thinking this is my opportunity to use a fire extinguisher.
Well, Marcus, try one out on a teammate at the hotel in San Jose. What are you waiting for? You don't need a fire to use a fire extinguisher.
I saw a guy get kicked out of his
club
for doing that.
You know what? I might have to start using it on a couple teammates. We got some pranksters going on right now in our team, and it's not Marc-Andre Fleury anymore. It's just random guys doing random shit now. It's getting annoying.
That'll always work for us.
I had my shoelaces taken out of my shoes the other day. And then they were tied around my steering wheel of my car in all knots.
Oh
no!
They knotted it up real tight, so you had to work at it.
And I got a hint that it's the other goalie.
Oh, Phil.
Yeah.
You can't.
So he's going to have a couple good-looking bumper stickers on his car in the next couple of days, I think.
Yeah, you can't tell.
He's becoming the bad one right now. It's insane. As I said, he scored a goal, and he's got all this confidence now.
Well, a guy like you can't take that noise from a goaltender. But, again, back to our radio station fire. It was a bittersweet morning because when the fire started, I was quite pleased. I was looking forward to a few days off. And then, I don't know, 2 hours later, it was fixed, and that disappointed me greatly. We returned the next day.
You're back on air.
I didn't want to be back. So there you go. Marcus, we always appreciate you swinging by. Go get the San Jose Sharks and the Anaheim Ducks, and, be nice to your brother. Your parents will appreciate that, but we hope you get a win in Chicago as well.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Marcus. Marcus Foligno joins us every Wednesday on the program. Randy Shaver, that's about it for us. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds good.
Farter, you're a farter.
I'll never tell.
The ass man. That's why we call him the ass man. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
And we'll be back in a few minutes here on the program.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It is that time of the year at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Schedule your tune-up, boost your indoor air quality, or grab huge deals on a new system. Do not wait. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan shares real stories from real people from all walks of life on The Sean Ryan Show.
Who is somebody you'd like to see on the show?
I think Tommy would be really funny.
I would love to interview Tommy Lee.
I was on a tour bus with Tommy Lee. I stayed on tour. We went to a few shows, and he drops me off. And my mom sees this Motley Crue tour bus, because my mom obviously knows who Tommy Lee is. She's like, you were just with Tom. And I was like, yeah.
The Sean Ryan Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
F me running. It is 8:32 here on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. I don't know how many people would have predicted that. That we would have made it to 8:32. Ashley, Wapple, and Dana.
Yes.
Thank Josh for giving you a job in radio, even though all of the three of you can barely speak clear English. I want you to thank Josh for giving you a gig in radio.
Thank you, Josh.
Cut that out.
I only heard, whoa, where was the rest of you? On three, 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
I didn't believe any of that.
I got my cardio in just now, though. That's good. So.
Yeah, are you out of breath a little?
Why are you so...
You got your car dealing?
Cardio.
Yeah,
I had to sprint to the other studio.
Oh, I
We've
can't.
been having all kinds of... Well, now you've heard it on there.
So many problems.
But off air, too, the computers have been really, really bad today.
Mm-hmm. It's true. With the slurring and the inability to say your INGs and the as-vegged Jevenfolds, the three of you can barely speak the language, but Josh hired you anyway. Let me take our listeners on an adventure here. If you missed it earlier, let's take a look behind the scenes here in big-time radio. Usually only deep industry insiders get to experience things like this. What we have here is audio of Dana attempting to speak clear English while cutting what we call around here a video game update. Dana, you had some trouble, did you?
I did, especially with the word brothership. It's not a word I've really ever pronounced until yesterday, and I could not get it out of my mouth correctly.
I think this is a lot of fun. You were trying to say, give us the full statement again, the full title of the video game.
There's a new video game that came out on Monday called Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Mario and Luigi Brothership. Mm-hmm. And this is real audio of you sitting there at the soundboard after we got done with the show yesterday, and you're trying to cut this video game update, and Mario and Luigi Brothership about caused you to have a nervous breakdown. And I think that we had a lot of fun with this earlier. Let her buck, Josh. Here's Dana behind the scenes cutting his video game update.
One critic said Mario and Luigi Brothers. 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 One critic said Mario and Luigi Brothership is a. One critic said Mario and Luigi Brothers. Here's what one critic had to say. Mario and Luigi Brothers.
Now, you sent this to us last night and said you got to hear how much trouble I had. And I had asked you, well, did you kind of cut this up, right? Were there any longer pauses? And that's what shocks me is, like, you didn't take a break and just, like, take a deep breath, wait a couple seconds, maybe rephrase well, you did rephrase it at the end.
Yeah, I love that's the best part. Best part.
And you could hear the disappointment in your
frustrated voice. Little grunts you were.
Yeah, I was so mad at myself. But no, that there was no, because a lot of times we'll edit out pauses and stuff and things, obviously, on sound clips. I just took that raw audio and hit save as and
Brothership.
You can say it on air perfectly.
Yeah, I know. That's what's weird now is I can say it out loud, brothership. I can say it perfectly. But I guess yesterday just was not my day.
Was there some galoot from KQ staring through the window at you, waiting for their turn to cut their audio or something? Were you made nervous by somebody?
Well, I was doing it before we did our, usual powwow, and I didn't want to keep you guys waiting. So that's why I was trying to go too fast.
Oh, yeah.
You're a go-too fast guy.
I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slow it down a little bit.
Slow it down, and you're all good.
That's good stuff.
Homeboy.
I really enjoyed that.
Thank you for sharing. You took one for the team.
I did. I was like, I'm gonna get peppered for this, but it'll be worth it because I think people deserve to hear that.
No, you were. You did good. You marked it good. Oh, wow. Yeah, I could do that all morning long. All right, continuing on the topic of communication. Something relationship related here you might enjoy. The evil, godless, soulless internet. This is effing ridiculous. Anyone here have any good arguments lately with the wife, the boyfriend, the husband, the girlfriend, the side piece? Good argument.
No.
No, things are pretty harmonious over there still,
Yeah.
Josh?
We're both too dumb to argue, I think. We don't get too worked up. We don't get too worked up.
Is each day still better than the next?
It really is. It's always worse than the day before, but much better than the day that's going to follow.
Nothing even from you, Smashley, and your little flavor of the month boyfriend there?
No, we're pretty good. We like to give each other crap, but I wouldn't consider that really, fighting or anything.
He seems very, very laid back, or maybe he just puts that on in front of us.
Oh, he definitely is. It's one of my favorite things about him.
Yeah, he's chill until he sends me death threats via text message.
You
but
started it.
He started it.
Oh.
We don't need to get into that. Though.
Once Mark.
That's Dana's traffic report.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That was a traffic report?
He was trying to say brothership.
Once Mark.
Dude, I wasn't here for that, so that is awesome.
Oh, weird. You weren't here?
I had a day off. It was real.
Ball busting, just like you and your boyfriend do. That's what that was. This is just ridiculous. Is this for real, Skis? Speaking of communication and relationships, some 28-year-old dude hopped up on social media and said he and his girlfriend have gotten into some arguments. They have. He admits it. They've been together for 8 months. He says anytime they get into a disagreement, his girlfriend pulls up Chat GPT for help with the argument.
Oh, no.
So can you even explain this to me, Josh?
I'm not too familiar with Chat GPT. I mean, I understand it a little bit, but I know it can do a lot of stuff I'm not aware of.
How would this help someone while having an argument?
Can you say, explain the argument and say, give me some... give me some arguments sorry to reuse the word.
Talking points.
Help me argue this point.
Okay.
That's got to be what it is, right?
I don't fully understand.
Well, I have also, there was a man that was doing this to his girlfriend, and he was putting in their argument word for word, and he'd ask, Chat GPT, who is being rational in this conversation? Who is in the wrong? And it was always her.
Okay. And now getting a better idea on the fly here as to what Chat GPT does. Okay, I can see it going that route. You punch in what was said to you during an argument. You punch it into Chat GPT and ask, is this a rational point or a rational argument? So this 28-year-old dude who claims his girlfriend pulls up Chat GPT whenever they argue. He says he hates it. Well, anybody would. He says it feels like he's getting ambushed by the thoughts of a robot.
It's kind of funny to be in an argument with someone or disagreement with somebody, and they need to cite an internet robot to be able to prove their point.
And that's not a fair argument. Say, if Josh and I were arguing, and God forbid that would ever happen because our relationship is perfect in every way. But let's say you and I are in an argument. If I ducked out of the room every 2 seconds to check with someone else, a live human being, that's not a fair argument.
No.
Oh, shoot. I just tried to open Chat GPT to see if we could do it live. Our company blocks it.
Well, why would they do that?
I don't
got
know.
it on my phone.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
Well, yeah. You mind pulling that up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Mine's working.
On your computer?
Yeah.
Well, they took away everything on my computer.
So when this dude argues with his girlfriend and she's fingering away at Chat GPT to combat his point or his argument, he says that Chat GPT will tell him through his girlfriend that he's insecure or that he doesn't have the emotional bandwidth to understand what she's saying. Now, that would piss me off.
Yeah.
Somebody's emotional bandwidth.
I don't have the emotional bandwidth to understand what you're saying. You don't even understand what I'm saying. This is so friggin' frustrating. The young people in the world today are so screwed.
Well, what they should do is find a different AI and have an argument back and forth there. Oh, because there's a few different ones. I know Apple came out with their Apple Intelligence.
Yep.
Then there's ChatGPT. Those
Google's got one too.
So you just have
Google
the,
has one too.
The
So
robots.
does Facebook too. It's
So
like meta
Josh,
AI.
you just have the robots fight it out.
Yeah. And under the guise of this is my argument.
You punch in your argument, she punches in hers, hit play, let the robots fight it out, and you go with the decision that the robots make. This shocked me. Well, number one, the subject matter itself is just so ridiculous. But it did surprise me, maybe I should say, that according to this write-up on the dude whose girlfriend uses ChatGPT for their arguments, there are other people who say they do the same thing.
Oh my gosh, people.
So here, Kung Fu Action Jesus on Silly Arguments. He said his girlfriend asked if he'd still love her if she were a worm.
Yeah.
He said no, and she started crying.
Come on, she did not start crying. That's a fragile person right there. I'd be afraid of that person.
I pulled up ChatGPT and I asked it, I said, can you help me argue with someone named Nick that called me stupid? And there's 4 different answers they give me that like 4 different ways to come back at
Okay,
you.
so are we playing a little game here? So let's pretend like I called you stupid.
Yep.
And this is what ChatGPT would come back at me with?
Nick, calling me stupid? That's cute, but I think we can do better, can't we?
Oh, do better.
Okay.
I love the do better.
Do better is a very hip thing to say. Now, what else does ChatGPT have to throw into my face?
That's I can do. All right, Nick, let's have a smart off. And then I give a trivia question and see who's smarter. There's, hey, I might be stupid, but at least I'm not wasting my time calling other people stupid.
Do they have anything an adult might say?
See, that's what's fun is now I can say, make it a lot meaner.
All right, go ahead,
really?
do that.
Okay.
Okay, so go with the same outline. I called you stupid. Tell ChatGPT to make it mean as a snake and see what they come up with. Many people, after reading this article about ChatGPT becoming part of arguments now between couples, many pointed out the obvious, and they say, we have reached the end. We had a decent run as humans, but this is the end. All right, is ChatGPT ready to get nasty? Nizasty?
I think it can get meaner than this, and that's what's fun is I can keep asking it to get meaner, but this one's pretty good.
Did it call me fat?
Calling me stupid? Wow, Nick. You put a lot of thought into that. Got anything else, or is that where the creativity ends?
See, that's not bad.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. That would hurt my feelings if you came back.
Yeah.
Josh would be...
yeah.
He would be hamstrung by that.
Yeah, you won. You won.
Anything else?
Wow, Nick. You call people stupid? That's impressive. Next time, try having an actual point.
Okay. Not maybe as stinging as the first, not maybe as hard-hitting as the first, but they put a little stank on it compared to the first series of responses.
I know we're just playing around, but I'm a little upset at what ChatGPT said about my friend. That was a hurtful thing
Thank
to
you,
say,
Josh.
ChatGPT.
Thank you, Josh.
I asked them
ChatGPT, do better.
I asked them to call you a name, and the best it comes up with is A+ for effort, Lord of Lame Insults.
I am the Lord of Lame Insults.
You know what? I like the word butt lord. When it's just one word, butt
Who doesn't?
lord.
Who doesn't?
That's so fun.
I'm a fan as well.
Dana, what did you call yourself yesterday?
I sent you an email and I forgot to attach a file. So you said, "Oh, is it missing? I'm not seeing it here." And I said, "Oh God, sometimes I'm just a lord of the butt."
That's what it is. That was good.
Oh wow, yeah. We are in real trouble, but we knew that way before we got into this conversation about ChatGPT.
Half-assed morning show.
Due to some sexual content, parental discretion is advised.
On 93X.
Oh, man. Hasn't this been something? I'll tell you. And I know what you're saying in our listening audience. You're saying, you guys got to consider this one of the greatest broadcasts in radio history, right? Yeah, I think I do.
You do?
But we're ready to bust clean out of this nightmare. We're ready to go. Josh over there a minute ago, he told us he really likes the word butt lord. He thinks that's a keeper.
I think anything with butt in it to me is already kind of funny.
Yeah,
but
because it's
butt
so
lord,
childish, and
I don't even know what that means.
Me neither. I remember the first time I heard it said out loud, though, and it was in the movie Orgasmo.
What is that?
Does anyone remember the movie Orgasmo, The Adventures of Orgasmo?
I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about.
I'm surprised a guy like you, Dana, isn't all over that because you love the South Park setup.
I do like those guys,
And it's those same guys. Orgasmo, he's a Mormon. He gets into the world of porn. It's a lot of fun. Orgasmo. There's a scene in Orgasmo where... Hang on. There's a scene where the main character...
Oh, no.
The main character is trying to enter a house, and there's two big, beefy security guards blocking his way. Look it up. Watch the movie this afternoon. And the lead character, Orgasmo, says, "Step aside, butt lord." That's the first time I ever heard it, and I fell in love. Okay. Let me tell you, I got to tell you about an insult word, or whatever you want to call that type of thing, that I heard once, and I loved it, and I have yet to hear it again. And so I want to give my buddy Joey all the credit in the world. He's the only person I've ever heard use this word, and he used it so beautifully. And I've never heard anyone else use the word or the term. And there's a decent story behind this. Joey, and some of you might be saying, what, not Donnie? No, Joey. But Joey and Donnie do know each other. They've known each other for a long time. Joey and I had this great opportunity many years ago, Josh. The Motley Crue came to town.
Oh, yeah.
And I know... some of you might be saying, "Oh, when? That never happens." No, it's true. Motley Crue once came to town to play a show. And I had this really interesting opportunity to go to a little recording studio here in Minneapolis. It was somewheres downtown. And we had a bunch of listeners join me for a little private Motley Crue show 4 or 5 hours before their regular show they were playing that night at the X or something like that, Target Center. And it was Vince Neil, it was Tommy Lee, Nikki Sixx, Mick Mars, the real Motley Crue. And this was really cool. So I got to go to this little private studio with only about maybe 35, 40 listeners, and I got to interview the Motley Crue, and then they played 4 or 5 songs for this little crowd, and so it was very special. I got to bring somebody with me, and I brought Joey. Joey worshipped Motley Crue when we were kids, absolutely worshipped them, and he was nervous as all hell as he and I are climbing the stairs in this old building in Minneapolis heading up to this studio. He was nervous as hell at the thought of just being in this intimate crowd. Well, Joey and I got there way earlier than we needed to be. And we walked in the door, and the only people in the room are me, Joey, Tommy Lee, Nikki Sixx, Vince Neil, and Mick Mars. That's it. Joey turned tomato red now. He is absolutely terrified, nervous, excited, everything all at once. And as soon as we walked in, I think Vince Neil was the first one to say, "Hey, dudes." And I whispered to Joey, I said, "Dude, this is what you've been waiting for your entire life. There they are, dude. Go talk to them." I said, "It's just the 6 of us." And Joey says, "No, man, you go ahead. I'll get in there. Trust me, I will. I don't want to be the first one to." So I walk up, "Hey, guys, thanks a lot. 93X loves you. We're looking forward to the show tonight. What a cool idea to do this thing. Hey, how's it go?" And I'm having a conversation with the Motley Crue. Of course, Josh could tell you that the most long-winded conversation I had was with Nikki Sixx. But anyway, the entire time, Joey's just standing there looking at his shoes, and I'm looking over at Joe. "Come over." I'm motioning, "Come over. It's just the 4 guys from you've loved them since you were 5. He won't make a move. Next thing you know, all 40 of the listeners pile in, and now Joey's just a face in the crowd. He tries to get near them. He can't. They do their 4 or 5 songs. They leave. Joey blew it. He friggin' blew it. After this experience, we're walking over to Target Center now for the real show, and we run into Joey's sister, who knew Joey had this opportunity. And his sister also worshiped Motley Crue, and she says to Joey, "Oh, my God, what was it like?" And Joey says, "I never talked to him." And she said, "What?" And I had to tell his sister, I said, it was just me and Joey and Motley Crue, and he wouldn't talk to them. And his sister says, you dumb bastard, oh my God, how could you do that? Why did you just stand there? What's wrong with you? And Joey said, and here's the term that I've yet to hear since Joey said it that day, he said, I don't know. I'm just a total snicker dick.
I've never,
That's cute.
never heard anybody say that.
Yeah, those two words put together I've never heard.
We roared with laughter, and again, I give him all the credit in the world because I haven't heard it since. He called himself a snicker dick.
That's kind of cute.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody should honor Joey today and go out there and call somebody a snicker dick.
I think you're right.
Does Joey know Wang?
Yes.
Yeah, and Donnie?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good group to hang out with.
Joey's the guy that I've told you about Joey before. He cries at all the Queensryche concerts.
Oh, yeah.
Joey's the one who breaks down into tears whenever they play Take Hold of the Flame or any other song by Queensryche for that matter.
I can understand.
He's a very emotional guy.
I guess so. I'm sorry he didn't get an opportunity to talk to any of the members of Motley Crue.
I mean, he really honestly blew it. He just stood there looking at his shoes like there was something interesting about his shoes 5 minutes prior to when. He wouldn't make a move.
Does he regret it, or is he just kind of happy to be there?
He regrets the hell out of it.
Has he said maybe what he would have brought up if he had the courage?
No,
Nothing
he never really got into detail as to what maybe he would have said. But it was just the six of us. The prick made me carry the whole conversation with Motley Crue. They're not the brightest guys in the world.
Well, like you said, all you got to say one thing to Nikki Sixx, and then you're good.
Yeah, he went on some tangent about how great he is for 32 minutes, yeah.
That guy doesn't take a breath.
Oh, man.
Well, before we go, best of luck to Covered in Metal Jesus. He's having a bone marrow biopsy today, so we wish you well, brother. Hope you get some good news. Happy birthday to GNR Twins Jesus from Boom Salon Jesus. Happy birthday to Steve in Coon Rapids from AA Ron. And happy 12th to Leah from Insulation Hauling Jesus. And I know, Ashley, you have a birthday shout-out as well.
Yeah, happy birthday to Nick's biggest fan in the world, my beautiful friend Missy.
Oh, Missy, sure.
You love her.
She's a lovely lady, and we are in love.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Winter's arrived, and with the holidays around the corner, it's the perfect time for Standard Heating's Black Friday Comfort Countdown specials. And right now is the time to become a Smart Club member and get your furnace in top shape before winter comes. Visit standardheating.com today. Comfort you deserve since 1930.